You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuning to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad with me in effect, as always. Ladies first, my homegirl, Jen, chopping up with us again. What's going on, miss?
I'm good. How are y'all? It's been a long week.
Good. Been a long week. I think everybody's feeling the repercussions of the long week. I got my brother Vern. I thought he, cut me off. I ain't seen him for about 3 weeks. You know what I mean? What's going on, bro?
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you.
JR, the youngest in charge, R&B guru. What's going on, good brother?
What's up? Ready to get this popping, man.
All right. My brother Vega out of BK. What's good, bro?
What's up, man? Shout out to Morgan State University. Shout out to my homie Javon Johnson. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got, Kill. So.
I feel you. We're going to touch on Morgan in a minute. Rel, what's going on, bro?
Good, what's good? Rel Tresman in the building.
Rel Tresman in the building. Eddie, what's going on, bro?
What's good, man? Shout out to Ev, you know what I'm saying? The Prophet. No doubt.
This nigga out here showing off in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Outside, you all chilling and man, I tell you, man. He outside on the balcony in Cali, man. Nothing but love for Ed. Ed came and grabbed me when I was out in Cali to go digging and get some cheesesteaks. So nothing but love for Ed. Yo, I want to just give a special shout out, prayers. Everybody was affected by Morgan State. That's me and Vegas' alma mater. It's hurtful. The last thing you want to do is send your kids away to college and, for them to have to go through something like this. One of my people's, their son was one of the people who got shot. Got shot in his hand and shot in his foot and had to have surgery today down at Johns Hopkins. So prayers for him and everybody who's involved, man. And just a horrible situation, man. Just a horrible situation. So nothing but prayers for them. All right, y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. I tweeted something last week or this week about if you had never done surgery on a cassette tape, never try to debate music with me. We can discuss it, but never try to debate it with me. People didn't know what surgery on a cassette tape even meant, which is a key reason why I was like, don't debate music with me. But it had one of my young boys who was like, yo, Kill, what are five? Well, not five. I said the five. But he was like, yo, what is something like you always talking about y'all old head shit? Like, what is it that's so not bad about hip hop now that you wish you could have back or something like that? And it had me thinking, like, what are 5 things that we miss from hip hop and R&B from the 80s and the 90s? And I mean, it could be anything. It could be the music, it could be fashion, it could be, doing certain things. But what are 5 things that you wish were still around now that essentially made most of us fall in love with hip hop, the music, and the culture? So that's what we're going to be chopping it up about tonight. My mother and grandmother raised me right. So Jen, let's start the show off. Ladies first. What is one thing that you miss from the 80s and 90s that you wish was still here in hip hop right now?
I got my list. I'm going to start off with, I'm going to say liner notes.
So I don't play spades with you. Okay.
Right. You waited for those, but that would be great. Like, I get having the credits and stuff, but the liner notes, it felt like it was something very personal from the artist. You got to see, like, beyond the credits, all the things that went into making the album. Thank you. So I miss, like, that's what I used to wait for, opening up that cover and reading the credits, the liner notes. So yeah, bring that back. I know Apple can, they can maneuver or engineer and put that up on it. So.
Yeah, I co-sign with that 100%.
Yeah.
When albums drop now, I realize I have to go to Genius because usually Genius will have like who produced it and things like that on it. But we shouldn't have to search for that. You know what I mean? Like like you said, it should be readily available to you, because I was always a liner note head. It was like, yo, I want to know what studio was recorded at. I want to know who engineered it. I want to know who's doing backgrounds. I want to know so much more about the music. Shout out to Brian Coleman. He has a book series out called Check the Technique. It started with this joint called Rakim Told Me. It's liner notes for all not all, but the majority of a lot of the classic albums from the 80s and the 90s and how they came together. So if you're a liner note junkie, you definitely want to tap into that, because so many stories, so much to find out, so much to learn about, so many of those albums. So I concur. Vern, you had liner notes too. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, because liner notes told stories behind stories, and you had to read between the lines of things. You're like, oh, so rapper X knows MC Z, and then, you know, that ties you together. So then you go hunting for the people that you saw on those liner notes, so it opened up a whole nother world of music that you probably would have never checked for unless you had saw those liner notes. So yeah, it was definitely a big part of my love for music, hip hop back in those times.
Right. This is a joint right here. This is what is this? Volume 2. And you can see nice joint, nice size. So many dope stories in these books. I guarantee you will definitely, there's no human being that could come away from this not learning something from these joints. And like I said, I think it's 3 volumes along with Rakim Told Me. So definitely a dope book. And Vern, something else that you kind of spoke on about that, even when I started digging, they weren't necessarily the liner notes, but just being able to look at the back album cover to see like who played drums. Like if I brought an album and I'm like, yo, whoever's the drummer on this is ill, let me now look up their stuff, or whoever did this, X, Y, and Z. So even if we don't get the liner notes, I feel like we don't get anything anymore. We don't even know who produced it. We don't know anything about it. So that's definitely dope. First thing I got up is listening to the radio to record songs, which essentially takes me back to why we had to perform surgery on these tapes. It wasn't just like, oh, my Straight Outta Compton pop, let me go buy another one. Nah, it was I stayed up all night for 2 weeks for Friday night for Lady B to play this new, you know, ultramagnetic joint called Funky, and the tape popped, so now I gotta fix it. So I mean, it was just something about hearing things for the first time on the radio, you know what I mean? And going, especially, you know, I'm sure all our cities had it. Like in Philly was the Power 9 and 9, which was just the, you know, Monday through Friday countdown, the top 9 songs. Maybe they throw in a new song. So, you know, you could go to school the next day and be like, yo, did you hear the new this? Or did you heard the new PE? I remember hearing Bring the Noise for the first time on that. So it was just like the excitement of that. Going to Brooklyn every summer and just recording stuff off the radio. You know what I mean? Listening to, you know, Red Alert, listening to Marley Marl, coming back to Philly with those tapes. I mean, truth be told, and the new generation will notice, getting a 5-pack or a 10-pack of blank tapes, that was like Christmas to me. Like, that was like a gift. Like, yo, you giving me 10 blank tapes, and I mean, just the Memorexes, and then to see it go from 60 minutes to 90 minutes to 120 minutes. So definitely for me, it's just listening to the radio and being able to take those songs. I mean, Vague, that's really what plugged me into strictly hip hop. You know what I mean? We were on Live Raven one day and they played, I think, Party and Bullshit. We was like, yo, who is this? Like, who? You know what I mean? It was like, I remember the first time they played Mad Ism up there, and we was like, yo, who the fuck is this with KRS? Like, it was just that whole, like, you know, that excitement of being able to hear it. So that's it for me. JR, what's one thing that you miss from the 80s and the 90s?
Real singers on hooks.
Okay.
I am tired of these rappers now trying to act like they singing melodically and they sound like shit. Like, it bothers me. Like, it pisses me off. Like, it was a time where you knew you had a real singer was on a hook and they sounded good, and that's what I miss. I miss with like Allison Williams singing on Basketball on Curtis Blow. You know, Faith used to do a lot of hooks for rappers. She did Lawrence, you had Joe, Kelly Price, like real singers singing on hooks.
Vinia Mojica.
Yes. None of that no
Tammy
more.
Lucas. Tammy Lucas.
Tammy Lucas.
Yeah.
What? So we don't got that no more. We got these melodic clowns, and I ain't got time. So no,
melodic clowns. That needs to be a T-shirt. Jerry, I really hope y'all people know how much money I be putting in your pockets. Melodic clowns. That's a T-shirt.
You do.
That needs to be an R&B rap special. Melodic.
There it is.
You know what I mean? You done came up with a whole new genre. We was talking about genre last week. Now you got melodic clowns in R&B. So definitely. Vern, what you got up, sir?
All right, I'm about to say something that most people gonna probably scrunch up at, but we have too much access to music and to the artists. There's no mystery. There's no mystery. Music was bigger, not seemed. It was bigger because they think everybody they buddy. I mean, yeah, I be chopping up with XYZ rapper on Twitter. I don't need to know all that stuff. I don't need to know about your political leanings. I don't care who you're dating. I don't care about none of that stuff. I care about is your music dope. And so it's too much access, and it's cheapened music. And I mean that's gonna lead to another one of mine. But yeah, I like the mystery of having to look at a magazine like, oh, such and such. Now I can know what time you get up to take a dump in the morning, what time you brush your teeth, you know, and it's not good to me, and it's cheapened music as a whole.
I feel you.
My favorites are people I don't know anything about, or I only see them when it's time for them to put out their music.
Right.
Yeah, those are my favorite. I like that kind of mystery. I don't need to know all the personal details in your life. Mm-hmm. I like this.
Yeah, and I mean, I think put in the music anyway, so it's like that's how we connect to them. But
I don't even know about your arguments you had last night, and you know, all kinds of.
The sad part about it is, I think when you get too much of that, it makes you not be a fan. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's kind of like, Veg, I'm sure you could attest to this. You know, there were people who would come to 889 who I was a fan of prior to meeting them. And then they left. And I'm like, yeah, nah, you like, dude, asshole. Like, nah, I'm good. You know, yeah. I mean, like I always tell a lot of y'all favorite rappers from the 90s that looked all peaceful and, you know, peace, you know, were the biggest assholes in the world, you know, and most of the grimy niggas who you'd be like, yo, dude, with some of the coolest niggas in the world. So again, you know, it's almost like Vern said, having that access, it was better that I didn't know, you know, it's not this, but what if Chuck D just was an asshole? You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you a great example. Dilla, reading Dilla time. It sounded like Dilla could be an asshole at times. Mm-hmm. And it didn't stop me from being a fan, but it was just like, word? Like, oh, you just seem so cool and da-da-da-da. So again, I think it's one of those things where, like you said, that mystery that was there. It's like, yo, just give us the music. You know what I mean? And I don't need to know your political leanings, your orientation. I don't care. And I'm a tag on to this. Is there more content creators than music creators now? You ain't never lied. Because here's the thing, and that's a whole nother show, this whole gatekeeper shit that people be like, we need gatekeepers. Yeah. No, we need gatekeepers. We need motherfucking gatekeepers with the security. Okay? That was this why I don't go to free shit. When people be like, yo, it's a free concert, nigga, Kill won't be there because there ain't no gate. You know, it ain't no, I need security to keep the right people in, keep the right people the fuck out. Mm-hmm. So the only people who don't like the gatekeepers was the niggas who couldn't get in the fucking club and was tired of security. You know what I mean? The people who was getting in the club, they loved the security. It wasn't no problem. Eddie then vague. Eddie, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, artists are also diminishing the value of interviews, right? It used to be like, if your favorite art, if there was an interview or like a write-up in a magazine, like The Source or Vibe, like you would look forward to it, like read about it, like learn something new. And now it's like, you know everything because they're either posting their videos or on social media every 5 minutes. It's nothing new. Like,
you know what, Eddie?
Good one.
That's a good point. And Vague, we'll come to you, and this ties into Homecoming. One of the things that I realized with social media, especially Facebook when it was popping, Homecoming didn't feel the same because I already knew what the fuck you've been doing all year. The thing that used to be special about Homecoming was, yo, I'm gonna come here once a year, I'm gonna see people I ain't seen, in a year, and we gonna catch up. Like, what's going on with your kids and what's going on? What you doing? Oh, you doing that? Oh, that's what's up. Now I kind of go to homecoming. It's like, nigga, I know everything you do because we show each other every day what we do. So there really is no mystery, you know, around it. I always said Facebook when it first popped, I'm like, this is like the high school reunion every fucking day. This is I would, you know, nobody wanted to fuck with me in high school, so I'm gonna show you my house, my car, and everything I got now. And so yeah, again, the gift and the curse, the gift and the curse. Babe, what you gonna say?
No, I think I kind of said it. I kind of, you know, I agree with y'all. It's part of the reason why I use social media in the way I do, because you know, I mean, Talib Kweli, perfect example. I saw, you know, I saw a couple of things. Obviously, sometimes he say things I agree with, but at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, you ain't got no shows, nigga. You ain't got no rhymes to write. Like, get off. Like, at least with Snoop, he's not really, he's just finding shit and then posting it on Instagram, right? So you don't always get to see what he's doing. Like, you get peeks here and there. So when he does a show or whatever he does, you know, it's not like, oh, well, what's Snoop doing? Because he does so much else beyond his music that it doesn't really take away, because he don't go and rap about it. But then some of these dudes, they tweet about it, they post about it, and then they rap about it, and it's like, well, yeah, shit, I responded. Did you see my comment? Like, I'm gonna buy your album. Right. So most of the time I just ignore it. Like, niggas going live, I'm not joking.
Yeah. Right. And you brought up Talib. I don't listen to his music now because, bruh, he dead to me because of all the stuff he's done on Twitter, just arguing for weeks with races and you know, bullying chicks and stuff. He's dead to me.
Right. No, I feel you. Babe, what you got for your first drawing?
Bring back the importance of the DJ. I think the DJ is still around, but they're kind of around in a different way. Not even that much on the radio, and you know, I'm really looking at New York City radio. For the most part, it's kind of like they're there. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a point in tuning in to a Flex or Rest in Peace K Slay or somebody, because you knew it wasn't just exclusives. You knew you probably hear the joints you want to hear, some exclusives, a nice mix, a nice blend. Like you could do whatever. You could get dressed for a party to, you know, them on the radio, whatever. But now it's so much like listening to a mixtape, and you don't really even have them as a part of a group or paired with a, not that it has to be that, but there was just something that the DJ brought to a group or being paired with a solo artist that made it more than just the raps. You know what I'm saying? It made it, you know, and I'm not talking about a scratch on every record either. I'm just saying, like, you know, Jam Master Jay brought something to Run DMC. It wasn't just, oh, that's the DJ. So I don't know, like I kind of miss that side of it. I miss kind of being excited about a DJ. I think during the pandemic, DJ Scratch showed people on one of them verses, I think it was the D'Angelo joint, where he was mixing first, where people were going crazy. D-Nice, people love D-Nice, but it's the DJ, it's what we've seen, you know what I'm saying? So kind of wish some of that would come back, but I just think it's different now. So
yeah, I agree. I think the DJ and the groups are definitely missing, but I also think at the same token, groups have been trying to get rid of, I've been trying to cut the fat since the beginning of time. Like, I remember my mom's a music teacher, my uncle was a musician, so I come from a musical family. The thing is that when drum machines first came out, a lot of drummers were mad. You know, JR, I'm sure you could talk about some of the 80s R&B people, because the drummers like, we don't need you no more. So there was a lot of drummers getting fired in the early 80s when drum machines came out, because it's like, we don't need y'all. You know what I mean? Then when the DAT machine came out, babe, a lot of DJs started getting like, we don't need you no more. Like it was this constant, we don't need you anymore. It's the mix of me and JR were talking about at the Tony show, just about, you know, Scratch, EPMD touring without Scratch, and Salt Pepper, you know, doing it without Spinderella and everything like that. Or Natty, me and you were talking about it too.
Yeah, we were talking about
LA. Yeah, and it's just like, you know, they're part of the group. I don't know. Real quick, Jim, what do you think? Is Spinderella, so she wasn't signed to the deal. I looked at her like a contractor for the government, you know. So you're not signed to the deal. So Salt and Pepper's thing was you're just for hire, which reminds me of the government. Which, because I have a lot of friends who work for the government, but they really don't work for the government. They're contractors, and they don't have the same benefits that if you work for the actual government that you have. So just real quick around the room. Salt and Pepper, should Salt and Pepper be touring with Spinderella, and should EPMD be touring with Scratch? What do you think, Jen?
Yes, that's your DJ. Yeah, that's your DJ, and I think that they're a part of the group. I hate the idea that they're like a separate, like they're something apart. But yeah, the DJ definitely part of the group.
All right, JR, what are your thoughts? I know your thoughts, JR. So everybody watching, yes, he's a hard yes.
Yeah.
Right, what about you?
Most definitely, yeah, especially if Spinderella. Yeah.
All right, Vay.
If every rapper basically has a tour DJ, why would you not have Spinderella be your tour DJ?
Right.
That part.
All right. Well,
Who got to it for people?
Like why?
Yeah, what's the hit card?
Right.
what you think, Ralph?
Yeah, like why you gonna go get somebody else? Like that don't even make sense. Like,
All right, Eddie.
I say yes. Although when I saw them at the Force tour, which was LL Cool J's tour, right? And DJ Jazzy Jeff was there. So obviously with DJ Jazzy Jeff on stage, you're getting like the best DJ in the world, right? So you're not missing anything. But in any other circumstance, I say yes, you need Spinderella.
I concur. I think, to play devil's advocate, I think, again, people are just trying to cut costs. So, Jen, all the shows that I've been to at the Howard, I've only seen a DJ actually DJ one time, and that was the Dungeon Family reunion tour. And they had 2 DJs. Every other person had this DJ that would just press play and press stop. That is not a DJ. So, Vay, to your point, why pay for the tour DJ? Because the tour DJ is your cousin, and that nigga, you ain't even paying that nigga. That nigga is literally just pressing. I mean, literally, Conway will be rapping like, all right, cut that shit. Then they can stop. And then 50 million niggas talk for about 8 seconds. They like, yo, bring that shit back. And then, so there really is no, you know what I mean? Like, there's not the shows that we used to go to. You know, number one, this is totally off topic. I need less niggas on stage. If you are not performing, can we get the other 38 niggas off the stage? Like the other 38, we got 5 people with cameras circling you. I mean, yo, it's like you literally brought Queensbridge with you. I just want to see Nas and maybe a fucking hype man, and that's it. Can everybody else stay backstage? Like, put up the
You see why that's the Tony concert was so dope.
One, they took your phones. I wish every concert would take your phones, because it made people talk, it made people enjoy the music. To see the sea of people with not one cell phone up and everybody singing and dancing, it was an amazing thing. I was salty about having to give up my phone, but I'm like, I wish everybody did that. Bro, what's up? What you got for us, bro?
all right, mine is bring back the Tuesday physical release date, where you had to go and cop the album out of the store. And because we had a show, we talked about the stuff we went through, the cop albums and the memories you had going and copping those albums. Now it's just like, it's just too easy. It's like kind of piggybacking on what Vern said. It's just too easy. Everything, the access is easy, so you don't have those memories. Like, you know what I mean? The stuff that we went through to get some of these albums, the anticipation and all that stuff, like all that stuff is missed. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would bring back.
Yeah, I mean,
real great point. I will link that episode in this episode, because somebody's at home watching, like, what memories do y'all? Yo, we had so many memories. We had memories of niggas getting robbed. We had memories of niggas being trapped in the projects because they was at some girl crib. Go get a tape, and if you went to Germantown, like this nigga around us stole his mom's car. Like, this nigga was risking life and limb to get life after death. Like, we was risking life and limb. So for somebody watching, like, what good stories can you have? Trust me, one of the funniest episodes. JR, what was the story of your mom having to drive somewhere?
I got my ass whooped because of some shit. Yes.
Like seriously, like that was part of the. It's almost like for a producer like me when people be like, "Yo, Kill, here's a sample," and I'm like, "Nah, like I want to find my own shit." Like there's something about going to the record store and finding this record and then coming home and seeing if like mad niggas be listening to records in the store. I'm like, nah, bro, I take my shit home. Like, and people like, nah, I'll get you some samples. I'm like, nah, like that's part of the fun for me. Like it's a process, and that's part of it. The same way, like Rel said. Eddie, what do you have up first, good brother?
All right, what I have first is bring back the album rollout, and what I mean by that is, all right, you know. Before your favorite artist drop an album, right? Like let's say an MC, you start hearing them on like features or like remixes, right? They start building up the hype. Oh man, like he's really spent some verses. Next thing you know, you get like the street single, right? And then you get, you know, and that's hitting up all the radio stations, all the DJs, right? Then you get the first single, right? Then now you get a video and then the album comes, right? You by the time the album comes out, you're already hyped. The way the albums are dropping these days, it's like it's just all right, album's here. It's like, oh shit, what the, you know? It's like, yeah, album's dropping tomorrow, and it's like, damn, there's like 10 albums dropping tomorrow. Like you don't even know what to be hyped over. You haven't heard anything. You don't know who's on it. You know what I mean? I feel like there was something about getting hyped for an album with that rollout, right? Not only that, right? The press, you know, now they're doing interviews and they're doing articles, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like getting hyped, right? And then that leads into what Rel was saying. Like, you're so hyped about it, now you're like lining up when the album is released to get it in the store. So,
right. I remember, I think it was Wu-Tang Forever. Like, it was lines around the corner for that. You know, like, I mean, like, the album release was an event. You know what I mean? Like, I never knew if this was true or not, vague. Nigga, this Loud Rep was like, they was doing some Wu-Tang party, and, like, they just put the big W in the sky in New York, and niggas had to just try to find where the W was coming from or whatever like that. Like, it was an event to release an album. You know what I mean? And like you said, now you just kind of, you know, at midnight, just click on Apple Music and it's there, you know? Right. Again, gift and curse, you know, it's good that's this convenient, but you don't have those stories. Jim, what's your second one, miss?
One
oh, my fault. Hey, what you got?
To Eddie's point, I think one change that happened with the album rollout that I really liked was like when he mentioned the street single, you know, and which is basically like the B side and the A side. But when cats used to put out like let's use Fabulous for example. Fabulous would put out a mixtape was the Fabulous that you wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then the album was more so, you know, radio, couple of joints here and there. But at least if you like Fabulous for like hardcore raps or underground raps, you got this mixtape. And at first I used to be mad at it because I used to be like, yo, put this on the album. But then I was like, well, but this shit free. The album, right. You gotta pay. So I didn't mind it when they were doing that, but now really it's like they single you to death. And you know, you'd be like Usher. Like I've been listening to Usher singles for like 20 years. And I'm like, damn, you finally got the album coming. Like, I don't know if I want to hear it now.
Right. No doubt. Jen, what you got up for your next one, miss?
Well, circling back to groups, there's no girl groups, no boy bands, but there's no duet, you know, like a woman duet, like Ashford said, we don't have that, it's gone. But yeah, I would like to see a good girl group like 702, you know, bring that back. Yeah, bring back the groups.
Cheers.
JR, I know you want to touch on that, JR.
Absolutely.
So
I always feel like the foundation of it all is groups anyway. And that's how we were able to succeed with our solo artists. So if we had the foundation of groups, our solo artists were really able to shine because the groups were down there and they were shining too. So it was like, all right, if we could take that back to doo-wop days. Like in the 50s, it was about the groups. And then once that changed, and then our solo artists became so big, but the foundation was still groups. We don't got that anymore. So it's like, the foundation is broken. So now it's all about the solo artist, and that's the focus. And it's like that's why everybody sounds the same.
Question. Let me say X. And with the solo artist, didn't most of the people in the group always get mad at solo artists anyway? Like, you Brodian, you doing too much, you taking up the space, you the limelight.
When?
Yeah, but we still.
I mean, like in terms of like even with the New Edition story, it's like why Ralph singing all the hook? Like, it seemed like everybody in the New Edition story. I'll just use that since we saw the biopic, whatever. It was like everybody's mad at Ralph. Is it biopic or is biopic, right?
Right, biopic.
Yeah. All right. But it seemed like they were all mad at Ralph. You know, I know back in the day, me and T would be like, yo, when Beyonce gonna let Kelly and Michelle sing? She always hogging up the stage and blah, 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 blah. Like, when do Lee and the other joint get to sing? It's always Coco. And I know that there have been times, but it just seems that, I guess my question is, and it goes back to what Vague was saying about the DJ. I feel like there aren't any groups anymore because people already know you're gonna go solo anyway. Like, so why we even gonna do this anyway?
But the ones that go solo, it don't work. Because you can be a lead singer of a group, but you are not a solo artist. That's the difference. They focus all on the solo, you know, the lead singer gets all the focus. Yeah, that's the basis of the group. But once the person goes solo, then you're focusing completely on them. And you realize what's missing. That's the problem.
Yep, I just tweeted this week that the older I get, the more I appreciate Lily and Taj because they laid that foundation for Coco to float on. Because otherwise, you just got Coco solo. But man, those oohs and ahs and those harmonies were important. You didn't think about they just ooh and ah. Nah, but that added something to it all, to that whole recipe that made that cake come out good.
No, I was listening to Jodeci recently, and I was saying the same thing. Back in the day, I was like, oh, it could just be Casey and JoJo. You know, they don't need, Down and Devontae. But like you said, that it made like them being a group and all of the the harmony and the way the song it needed that. Like it's not the same. Like listening to Casey and JoJo is not the same as listening to Jodeci the group. So that's a good point.
Beg, what were you gonna say?
As a huge Jodeci fan, which JR and the R&B representatives won't let me do my album, but that's
hell no.
They won't let me do my album.
No.
But I agree. When they were Casey and JoJo, I was side-eyeing that shit in the store every time. Like, I'm not getting that shit.
Yeah, man.
It's not Jodeci. Like, what is that?
All right, now here's the thing. I'm some extent playing devil's advocate, but I actually really want to know. And this may be another show we gotta come back for. Because JR, why are you looking at me in that tone of face?
I'm waiting for you to say what you got to say. That's what I'm waiting.
You see this, Jen? This is the abuse that goes on. He already in the tone of face.
I sure am, because I want to know where you going with this one.
You have no idea. I really honestly don't think you do. I would like to know the percentages of, and maybe by era, because maybe by decades is different. Like, did Gladys really need the Pips?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Gladys's solo career wasn't equivalent.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay, I'm asking. I'm
going at you. No, you needed that. Gladys is just the vocalist. The Pips gave them performance. That's what they did. Like, you can't watch Gladys just sing. She wasn't doing anything.
I mean, think about Eddie Kendricks or David Ruffin by themselves ain't the same as the Temptations.
Yep.
We did come to see Otis. We didn't know it, but yeah.
Everybody coming to see you, Otis.
He said we ain't know it at the time, but yeah, we really did need Otis. Right. I would like to do this, yeah. I really want you to work with me on this. I want to break down all the groups and people who went solo, and I want to define what their solo career looked like. That Tony concert was amazing. I love it, but I still think Raph has an amazing solo career. I don't think when them niggas broke up, Raphael couldn't have the success that he's had. Now again, that's just Raphael Sneak. That's just one person. But at the end of the day, I I never saw any. Well, again, I'm just saying. Let's look at the statistics. Let's look at the statistics. We're gonna look at all the groups who went solo, because I feel like it's just if you go solo, then your career is over, and that to me is not the norm. Like we all thought Ralph was gonna be dope solo. I'm not getting into with you about sensitivity. Yeah, we ain't fighting tonight.
No. So, I know what you want. So I agree with you.
Right.
I'm
so that's what I'm saying.
On the show, look, Ralph.
Yeah, we got Ralph Transvan, and with the KC and JoJo, I felt like they moved away from the Jodeci sound. Like that. I want to be your mother. I want to love your brother. I want to be your cousin. I was like, where is this coming from? So I felt like you said, JR, they was trying to be Boys the Men and make wedding songs, and it's like, this, and again, this is just me not being
made the sound.
Right, and this is just me being a hip hop dude. I'm R&B second, and that's what I'm just trying to figure out. Can't you just hire somebody to do the background vocals? Because I'm hearing the harmonies and all of this, and Jasmine Sullivan does an excellent job of her harmonies. She can write through it. She'll get in there. Jasmine Sullivan sounds like she got a goddamn choir in there, and it's just her. Now I understand that that's a talent. That's a talent that it takes to be able to do all of that stuff. But I'm just really sitting here wondering if Dalvin and Devontae never got on the mic and Devontae made those beats, you still think Casey and JoJo wouldn't have been able to still do with Fiendin' what they did? Because the whole joke was them niggas can't sing
by themselves. No, what you talking about was just like another background. I just don't feel like it would hit the same. And
okay.
So I'm sure they brought in background singers for the things that they were doing, and it did not.
Okay.
Yeah, so they did. I'm sure they had background singers on their duet project, and it did. I've never gotten a Jodeci feeling. I do not. When I think of like listening a Casey and JoJo album, is not gonna do it for me when I want to listen to Jodeci.
Right. What were you gonna say, Ray?
No, I was gonna say it's an impression thing, right? So if you get big with a particular sound, even if the background vocals bring a particular sound to what made them popular, once you change that chemistry and add different ingredients, some people might not feel that as much as they felt the regular thing, because it's like, yo, this isn't what I was used to, as opposed to somebody like a Busta Rhymes, where the first time I heard him, I couldn't hear them other two cats because I was just laser focused on him. It wasn't a group thing.
Yep. Well, that's a great question. So do we think this is the same for hip hop? Do we think the people, the Busta Rhymes, the Grand Poobahs, the people who left the group, the Fontaines who left Little Brother, so do we think it's the same for hip hop? So what I'm hearing is everybody's like, we need more R&B groups. Is that the same for hip hop?
I had group for hip hop on my list, and I think so, because I think there was something missing from Prodigy and same thing with Havoc. Like I like it, but it ain't Mobb Deep.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's there's something that's lost, but it's the impression, right? If you love Outkast, right?
Outkast,
I love the Big Boy album.
Yes.
But damn, if there's not Andre coming in for it's something missing. So I think in a lot of ways with hip hop, obviously it's not everybody. Same thing with R&B. I think with R&B there's some anomalies, like you mentioned, because I mean nobody would say that about Michael Jackson, right? Like
right.
He was in a group, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's just an anomaly. So
yeah. All right. And that's a great point you bring up with Hav, because I was telling people too. To me, the Roots was never the same when Malik B left. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, they just tried to keep it going, but I'm like, that's like Phife leaving Tribe, and now it's just Q-Tip and Ali. Like, you know what I mean? And a whole bunch of features. You know what I mean? So totally get it with that. JR, we got to do that assignment because I want to know more about the group stuff. The next joint I got up is we going to go with Coming Home from School to Watch Rap City. I miss Rap City. I miss Yo Raps. That used to be, niggas would be like, let's go here, let's go there. I don't give a fuck where we go as long as there's a TV and they got BET. We can go wherever the fuck you want. We go to a crack house, but we got to have BET because I got to be able to watch Rap City. It was like coming home. I mean, getting funky. Again, here's the great thing about me, y'all. I've gotten so much better with names. I think Apartment 5B is an amazing name. I think Philadelphia State Life, I'm much better with names. Me and my man Nate, we were the Tick and Tack dancers. I don't know why niggas let me pick names. That's got to be the dumbest name for a dancing group, the Tick and Tack dancers. And people laugh at me, but I'm like, motherfuckers didn't say shut the fuck up and come up with a better name. Like, we were the Tick Attack Dancers. So we'd come home, and Nate, I was dark. We both looked like Scoop and Scrap. We had the high top fade, so we would just watch Getting Funky. We'd go in my basement. We would practice these dance steps every day, all day till we got them. So, I mean, Getting Funky, Lean on Me, Big Daddy Kane with Scoop and Scrap. And then seeing videos for the first time, like seeing Night of Living Bases. Not even knowing, like, this video is gonna come on, you're just watching, and it's like, oh shit. And I'm talking Rap City with Chris Thomas. I ain't talking about Big Tigger yet. We ain't even get there yet. I'm talking about Chris Thomas, the mayor. You know what I mean? So again, being able to come home and just seeing those video shows, seeing Yo MTV Raps with Freddie, Fab Five Freddie. You know, and me and my friends would always be like, yo, when we get on, we gonna bring Fab Five Freddie down to Pagano's on Ogontz Avenue to get cheesesteaks and everything like that. So just the video shows, I really miss that. I feel like that's a huge part that's missing in hip hop today. You know, because now that everybody can shoot their own video, everybody just goes outside on the block and, you know, shoots their video. Like, I don't feel like there's really any, like, really big ideas, any thought processes put into place. There is no treatment for the videos. It's just, yo, JJ, get your camera and we gonna go down on the block and, you know, and then that's your video. And it's like, nah, let's come up with a treatment and let's actually make a video. You know what I mean? So I think that's missing. So that was one for me. JR, what you got up next?
I'm gonna say better respect for our legends. I don't like that we don't respect the ones, especially with R&B anyway, because to me it just seems like these artists come out and be like, oh, I created this lane, and don't even understand that this lane was open for you before that, you know what I'm saying, that people were before you. So like, you know, it was the Grammys, and I'm gonna throw LMA out there, I'm sorry. They asked her, name 3 Aretha Franklin songs, and she couldn't. That right there to me, I was like, wait a minute. You're in the R&B culture, right? And you don't know 3 Aretha Franklin songs? Come on.
Okay, can I play devil's advocate again?
You go right ahead.
And this was a conversation on Twitter that somebody asked me, Kill, is it the kid's fault or is it the parents' fault? I lean on the side of it's the parents' fault. Because just because you can sing doesn't mean, to me, there's nothing really in your, I mean, unless you're like that Kobe type mind where you want to go in the past and study the film and all that stuff. Like somebody was, what, again, this, here's the thing. I was saying how one of my kids was like, yo, black people play guitars. You know what I mean? And niggas was like, yo, they don't know about Wes Montgomery. I'm like, my kids are fucking 14. They were born in 2007. Fucking people my age don't know about Wes Montgomery. So that's the thing. Like, people are just thinking, oh, your kids don't know about Lenny Kravitz. No, they fucking think Ice Cube is for fucking Are You There Yet? Like, these are kids. And if their parents don't teach them, why on God's green earth would a 15-year-old from Southeast Washington, D.C. know who the fuck Wes Montgomery is?
I get that. But with LMA being in this culture, you should know who Aretha Franklin is. And you should know. I mean,
but those are two different things. Those are two different things to me. Knowing who Aretha Franklin, they didn't ask her who is Aretha Franklin. They said name 3 Aretha Franklin songs. That's
Come on,
different.
Kill, you telling me you are a singer? Don't matter if you horrible or nothing. You can't name 3 Aretha Franklin songs.
But JR, how old is LMA?
They should in the 20s, 30s.
Yes.
I mean, again, but JR, I think what it is, and I just think a lot of it is about, and by me working with kids for 23 years, I just think a lot of it is about what you're shown in your childhood. You know what I mean? So there's so many things that come into place. If LMA's from the hood, stop, y'all. Stop. Like I told people on Twitter, y'all have high expectations for my teams. Most of them are reading 5 reading levels behind. Y'all have too much expectation for these kids. So if you're not taught Aretha, we were kidnapped, JR. My generation, we got kidnapped. If I have AirPods, I wouldn't know about Freddie Jackson and Sade. The only reason why I did was because there was one fucking stereo in the house and I had to listen to it. You know what I mean? So again,
but her mother loved Ella Fitzgerald though. Like,
well, JR, but that's what I'm saying. Then it's the mom. Did the mom teach the kids? Because this is what I always ask people. When people tell me they love hip hop, but they kids don't know shit about hip hop, I have to really question that shit. Not saying that they kids are supposed to spew off of everything, but I know kids don't want to go to church, but you know what parents do? They drag their ass to church. Why? Because that's what their parents want to do. Their kids don't want to sing on the choir. Why are they on the choir? Because the parents made them go to the choir. That kid don't want to play soccer. You got him playing soccer because your ass ain't play soccer. So you make your kids do all this other shit, but then when it comes to hip hop, you be like, oh, I don't want to make them do something they don't want to do. Nigga, 80% of the shit that your kids do is shit they don't want to do.
But do you know because she's from the UK, we always say that UK sound they know that extensive soul. She went to school for this. That's why I'm saying the science ain't sciencing to me. Like
I feel you. I guess I'm the odd man out because, like I said, my mom is a jazz musician, so I didn't grow up like most black folk with Clean the House Saturdays with Sam Cooke playing and cooking Thanksgiving dinner with Marvin Gaye playing. I grew up with jazz music. You know what I mean? So I really didn't learn about Marvin until I really started diving deep into it like in 97. You know what I'm saying? So again, you know, that's the thing, that everybody doesn't have the same upbringing. But again, I just think that it's the parents' responsibility. None of my kids know who Nas is. The only reason why they know about Nas, Jay, is because of me. Because I'm like, this is Nas, this is Jay, this is that. You know, it's almost like getting mad at a gospel singer because they don't know Psalms 35. Like, it's like, well, shit, my dad ain't dragged me to church, you know? So I'm not trying to make excuses for LMA, but I just think at the end of the day, I don't expect any of these people. Here's the thing, JR. I'll keep it a buck with you.
You're great. That's gonna be one of my things, a better radio host, because you're awesome right now. Because you're really kind of balancing this right now. I get it. I
can't even tell if he's being a smart ass or you're being nice. I honestly don't know.
Both.
No, I'm just saying, JR, this is what I want you to do. Come out and spend a day with my kids. I want you to come out and I'm gonna let's do an R&B listening session. So you can really get a grasp on what my kids know and how it's really about what parents have to teach their kids. You know, so again, and if it wasn't LMA, it could have been somebody else. But I know grown folk who can't name you 3 Aretha Franklin songs. Dead ass. Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, I'm burning vague. What you gonna say, bro?
So here's the thing. This is gonna tie into this topic. It's gonna tie into the topic we talked about with groups. A lot of this has to do with the individualism that has been shoved down the world's throat from, you know, the late 80s going forward. It's the reason the familial breakup. That's why it ain't no groups, because people don't understand that you need everything to add to make you who you are. And to what JR is talking about, okay, Kill, I hear you. But this is what I'll push back on. For the most part, the new generation has no curiosity about nothing that came before them. Nothing.
Right.
They created oxygen in their mind. Whereas, I'm trying to say generation wars or whatever, but like we heard stuff, and I was like, yo, that's the stuff my dad was playing. I heard it in hip hop, and it's the stuff my dad was playing. So that made me more curious about that stuff and all that. But now, I mean, there's no way to me. If Ellie Mae's point, it's a known fact. Britain loves Black American soul, Motown, Elton John, all them people, the Beatles. You know, Sam, whatever the dude's last name, Sam.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Adele, they know that stuff, so that's where I won't give her a pass on it.
But I think.
Go ahead.
No, keep going. No, you got
it. Here's the other thing. To me, if this is your profession, that's where you don't get a pass. You study Vegas. You do radio stuff. So I know you know all the radio guys, you know, from past. Don Cornelius and, you know, Tom Joyner, whatever. You know something about them because it makes you be better at what you do. Where, going back to that curiosity, and I'm not talking about your kids in the center, Kill. I'm talking about people, and this is the industry that you've chosen to be your profession, then I think you owe it to yourself and us to study your craft a little bit more so you can be better. But that's just my 51-year-old opinion.
No, I get that. And Veg, I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna touch on some things, Vern, that you said. The curiosity factor. Our kids, like I wrote down the quote you just said. That's the stuff my dad was playing. These kids have AirPods. The average house I go to don't even got a speaker in it. Maybe you got a Sonos speaker. That's it. So the key thing that you said, oh, that's the stuff my dad was playing. Now I hear it in hip hop. Now I'm curious to go find that. Ain't nobody listening to nothing. Everybody whose kids I know, if we keeping it a buck, have their headphones on all the time. I didn't even let Nate listen. Why do Nate have the appreciation she got for music? Because her ass was listening to everything I was listening to, because she ain't get headphones till like the 8th, 9th grade. So the average kid, I see kids, and I ain't talking about hood kids. I'm talking about niggas who make 6 figures plus kids. Kids got AirPods in from the time they 5. So that curiosity, so that seed that you heard isn't even in them. So that seed isn't even planted. So it ain't no harvest coming from that because there's no seed there. And then it's your profession. Brian, I've been working in kids for 23 years. I cannot tell you anybody who invented youth engagement, anybody who who are the pillars of the youth engagement. I have no idea. None at all. Eddie does IT. I don't know Eddie. Do you know who invented IT? I don't know. So just because it's your
you
profession,
don't know who did that part, but you one thing you do is you encourage people. You uplift them. You didn't just think of that yourself. You listen to things that you could bring to your kids to uplift them.
Truth be told, it's all God, man. Dead ass. Like, I'm not even trying to play, like, dead ass. I don't, and again, I'm not trying to argue, but I'm just saying that again, the curiosity that's there, I just feel like the parents they play a part in wanting to make you be curious. Mm-hmm. I just feel like your parents have to say, hey, when Naomi would say, hey, daddy, what's that? Let's go look it up on Twitter. Let's go look on Google. Like, I just feel like, my mom brought encyclopedias for me because it was like, that was her investment into your curiosity. So again, I just think that I'm not saying LMA isn't wrong. I'm just saying that the parents played, I would even give it 70-30. I'm not relinquishing any child of anything, but I just think it really comes back to the parenting that goes on. And if we keeping it a buck, whether you're hood, whether you're 6 figures, the easiest thing to do is to give your kid one of these goddamn tablets and say, shut the fuck up and leave me alone. And I'm just keeping it a buck with you. And that ain't about hood. I see rich people and the kid is just in a tablet from the time they won. You know what I mean? So again, I just think it comes back to the parents and vague. What were you going to say?
One thing I try to be careful with is generalizing, because I know I could have a group of friends or people I mess with, and typically we have common thoughts about what we like, how we raise children, whatever it may be, but that's never representative of everybody, right? Whether it's Brooklyn, New York, Atlanta, England, or whatever, it doesn't matter. There are anomalies everywhere, right? Like when you're looking at it from your inner circle, there's always going to be an anomaly, and then there's some things that are just common amongst the groups anyway, like, Illmatic is a classic, the end, you know what I'm saying? But I think in a lot of ways, like, for example, I'm a big hip-hop head, but it was kind of how I grew up, right? I didn't force that upon my kids because I want my kids to be able to make their own choices. I want them to be able to discover the music and the things they like in their own way, so then we can have a common appreciation, because that's how I discovered it. No one forced me to like hip-hop. I liked it. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of ways, I don't prioritize entertainment over when you get pulled over by a cop. I prioritize that shit more than anything else. But if my kids organically, I walk by and I'm like, this nigga listening to Gangstar, and I didn't give it to him, I'm more proud of that than I am. You can't have this, so you got to hear this. And I think organically, my kids hear what we be playing. And they hear when that bullshit come on the radio, they hear me like, yo, turn that shit off. So it's happening. They're just not being indoctrinated, and that's not even in a negative way. Because I think that's what with us, like you said, Kill, it was kind of like, well, shit, you can turn on 97? No, you can't? Okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. You were just listening.
Right.
Right.
And I think too, and then I got you.
Hip hop, you know. So
right. And I think too, we have to realize that the way we grew up is different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm mad sometimes because they need a ride. I'm like, I ain't asked my mom for shit after I was 12 years old. But nigga, I grew up in Philly. I be getting mad. Like, why does this nigga need a ride? I ain't asked my mother for a ride since I was 12 years old. I ain't need my mother for shit. You know, but she's in the suburbs. This is different. Like, she just can't catch a bus. You know what I mean? And there is no radio for her to just kind of find hip hop. You know, so it's different. You know, now and again, you know, I think we all parent a piece of the way we were parented. And then a piece of us is like, what we didn't like, we try to change, and what we like, we kept. Jim, what were you going to say?
I just wanted to add on Space's point about your children. Like, neither of my children, they kind of developed music tastes that are completely different from. But like you said, they will find it, you know, if you're listening, you know, passive listening, they'll find it. I did not learn, like my daughter, we're both Tyler, the Creator fan. And that's not anything that I pushed on. Like, she found him one way, I found him the other way. And we just kind of met in the middle. So eventually, you know, they'll pick up, but I want my children to develop their own, you know, their own love for whatever genre it is, even if it's, you know, not hip hop. And to the point about, like, how will they get some of this music if they already have the earbuds on? On TikTok, a lot of older artists are having like a second wind with the newer generation. Alexander O'Neal in particular, Johnny Gill with Rub You the Right Way, because they listen and they're like, oh, what's this song? This sounds real cool. And like I said, with Alexander O'Neal, I'm like, that's Alexander O'Neal. Wish you were here, if you were here tonight. And I'm like, that song is so old, but when my kids hear it, they're like, what is that? And I'm like, that song is old, but that's my time to like show you, let me show you something new, or show you like an older song and how we got to this point. Same thing with sampling. I was like, you know, this is how we got to this point, or this is what this comes from. So
but I think what you both are saying is y'all are both doing parenting. You see what I'm saying? So when they come to you with Alexander O'Neal, you're saying, oh, that's Alex. You're not ignoring it. You see what I'm saying? So that's the parenting piece. It's not about like you got to tie your kids down and put headphones on and make them listen to business going on for 5 hours, but it's like being able to say, let's have that conversation. And I think what a lot of people may not realize, like Vegas, you said it best, and I always say this, people will be like, all black men take care of their kids. And I'm like, no. What you're looking at is the people who are in your circle, and you're thinking that's the world. And I work in the hood. It's not the majority. Like, I would probably say 90% of the households in Salesforce, which is the computer app that we use, is all women households. You know, but because the people in our circle, you know, all take care of their kids, we like, nah, what the fuck you talking about? Niggas take care of their kids. No, your friends take care of their kids. Right. You know, not the whole entire world. You know what I mean? But I think, again, that just goes back to the parents and allowing there to be space to have a conversation. And a lot of parents don't have that space to have the conversation. It's not a conversation of, hey, this is why you should go to church, and Jesus is good, and this is why you should sing on the choir, because you're singing to the Lord. It's just get your ass on that choir. Shut up, leave me alone. Like, that's, you see what I mean? So that's where you guys are doing parenting things. And other parents, whether they hood or whether, again, it's not about class to me. You know, you got upper class people who just ignore their parents and their nannies raise them. So again, it just all comes down to the time that you want to invest into parenting. So I think we left with JR because it's LMA. I apologize, JR. I just want to blame her mom a little bit more than I blame her. No. Again, I think she deserves a good 30% because, yes, you should. But the key word is should. You should know. You know, the same thing I say about a fraternity. I'm not a part of a fraternity, but I know if you want to join, you got to know the history. Yes. So it's one of my beefs with these kids. So I'm with you, JR, because my beef is, how do you want to be down with hip hop so bad but not want to learn about the past? You can't be part of a fraternity if you don't know the history. You got to know the founders. You got to know the dates. You got to know where this was incorporated. You got to know all those things. Why wouldn't you? So I'm with you on that, bro. And why wouldn't you want to know that? And I don't know why that gene is missing. Like, I honestly don't. And I honestly think it's because most of our kids don't use parts of their brain. You know what I mean? Like, and Eddie, I'm dead ass. Think about this. JR, before the internet, if me and you were talking about when did Al be short in the... No, JR, you weren't. Bro, let's say me and you was arguing over when did I'll be sure it's in effect mode come out, what would we have to do before Google?
Before Google, shoot, we'd have to.
You know what we would do before Google? We would go in our brains and look at our brain like a house.
10th grade.
We would have to open the basement door, go in the basement, and start digging. Be like, okay, 88. That's 88. I was in 8th grade. I was dating such and such. We're going to parts of our brain. These kids don't even know their brain got a basement.
Yeah,
because there's nothing that has to say, oh shit, out. Because now in the barbershop, what would you do? What year reasonable doubt come out? We don't even do it anymore. We just go straight to our phones and Google it. Look to 96. That's when it came out. So we're guilty of not using parts of my brain. Right. So our kids don't even know they got a basement. We got a basement. We just too lazy to go now. we just it's easier just to Google it. So we're dealing with a generation that's growing up that they're not even using parts of their brains because they've never had to. You know. So again, I don't know if that plays into the inquisitive, being more inquisitive and wanting to know more. But I agree with everything. If you're part of this game, you should know Aretha Franklin, you know, but again, it's not like they're really joining a sorority. You know, it would be different if it's like, for you to get this record deal, you have to be able to do these 20 things. Maybe that's a show.
Well,
maybe that's a show. And for you to get a record deal, you have to be able to know these things. And you got to study the same way for Naomi to graduate. She got to study for these tests. You got to take the SAT. You're just getting these record deals, and it's like, hey, yeah, you should know this. Like, you should be able to read if you in college. I have kids in college who can't read.
You know what? And even when you think about LMA, right? It probably, what I said probably applies to her also as far as circle, right? Because if Mary J. Blige is her Aretha Franklin, why would she know Aretha Franklin songs? But she could probably tell you about a good 30 Mary J. Blige songs.
That's true.
Because of the times, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like for me, I became like you said, to your point, I became a fan of Aretha Franklin because I had to, right? Because it was on, and after a while, you're like, oh, I like that song. You know what I'm saying? But when you think about now, Aretha Franklin is a Mary J. Blige or whoever else from the time they came up in, and to us, we like, what? Like, how do you not know? Look, you know how many times I get upset when I hear like, "Oh, he the new Michael Jackson." Man, I'll be ready to break.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good point too. Like again, Mary is their Aretha. Yeah. You know what I mean? So maybe LMA could have named 3 Mary songs, but again, I think it comes back to we would have to somehow. Somebody has to school. Somebody has to school.
But that was the kind of the difference of our era and theirs, because Mary could name you 3 Aretha Franklin songs.
But again, JR, we got kidnapped. If I had a pair of AirPods and an iPhone in 1984, I'm not listening. I'm listening to nothing but the Beastie Boys, LL, Run DMC, and the Fat Boys. That means I'm not getting to hear Alexander O'Neal and Freddie Jackson, and Luther Vandross, and Sade, and Stephanie Mills. We got kidnapped. We did not kidnap our children. We did not. I kidnapped Nate. They will sit here and tell you she'll fucking walk down the aisle to some DeBarge because she be going out with her friends' parents. They be like, yo, we want Naomi come live with us because she know our music more than that music because I kidnapped her.
I mean, look who up there.
But I kidnapped her. But it was on purpose. I kidnapped her. You know what I mean? And that's the only reason why. Because again, if you would have given me AirPods and I could have just, I don't want to hear the shit y'all was listening to. I had to hear it. You know, and there's a big difference. Let's not sit here and act like we was 10 years old and we was like, hey, could you please put on this lady with slick back hair named Sadie? No, niggas was just, their parents was playing Sade. Nobody requested Sade when they was 10 years old. Like, hey, can you put on some Freddie Jackson, Rock You Tonight for old time's sake? Nobody was requesting that shit. When my dad said, what do you want to hear? I'm like, Run DMC. Well, that's good, Big. I was like, give me all the hip. My fault, Vern.
So I ain't gonna front.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. My mom put me on it. I ain't even gonna lie because I was like, I want to.
Well, JR, you're a fucking alien, so you don't count. Like you're like 30 and you know more than people 60 years old.
I'm agreeing with you. Right. I didn't want to hear it. Like, to be honest, if my mom would be on this show, she'd be like, he didn't want to hear this shit. He wanted to hear the new shit. He wanted to hear Mary. He wanted to hear SWP. He wanted to hear that. Yeah. But he had no choice.
And now look at you. See what happens when you get kidnapped? Right. Vern, what's your next joint, bro?
But before I go there, Jen, I want to go back to the Alexander O'Neal thing. My youngest is 26, and she's kind of like, she's like Nay. She know the good stuff, and she got her own good ear too. But she was talking about if you were here tonight. This was years ago. I said, put that on. Then I told her to put on Can You Stand the Rain? And I was like, notice any similarities? She had the Weebay look, like, oh, yeah, there's a continuum. But my next one would be.
And again, Vern, just real quick, that's great parenting. And I don't want people watching thinking like great parenting is just music. It's having a conversation with your kids. Yeah. Like that's really what great parenting is all about. It's not just music. It's about everything, life in general, having conversations with your kids and not just letting it be, how's your day? Oh, it's good. And that's that. No, go. Well, what happened in that? What happened in math class? Or what's up with such and such? You know, pry a little deeper. There are too many parents. How was your day? It was good. Okay. And then that's the end of the conversation. So again, I salute y'all for being great parents. But my fault, bro. What you saying?
All right. I'm gonna go with, and this ties into some other things we talked about. I missed the time that you needed a cosign of somebody who was already established in the industry to bring you in, because it did a couple of things. I can think about. I remember, like, who is this Redman nigga? He on Tribe videos. You know, people keep mentioning him in different things, and then Biggie, to me, came on the scene in my eyes on a bunch of niggas with Heavy D. Right. That I mean, I knew about Party, whatever, but that's what kind of brought him to me. So that cosign did a couple of things. I'm about to just rattle off something else that I said about paying dues. Like, you didn't just get on the mic. Right. You carried records.
Yep.
You was the dancer. Hell, you was the weed carrier. Whatever. You did whatever you had to do to get you in the door. Like, I remember, man, like my boys had a dope studio in their basement. But man, to say you were at the studio was like,
yeah.
Now everybody has a studio, so there's no. That entry point is so low that the barrier of entry. So I would say, what did I say? Paying dues. Is that what I said? No, needing a cosign because that cosign gave you a little credibility. It was like, okay, yo, if he's rocking with him, then I want to check out and see who this is.
Right. I love that because I mean, like you said, Redman, EPMD. It just after a while, it's like if they was down with EPMD, they had to be dope. You know. Gang started putting on J. Rue. Gang started putting on Group Home. You know, it's like, okay, if they rolling with them, they got to be dope. And I agree with you, you know, about the, you know, everybody just gets put on. Diamond was carrying crates. You know, Chris Lighty, God bless the dead, was carrying crates. You know, when I started at 889, I was a true-to-life intern. The shit they was doing to me was damn near like pledging my ass. Nigga, put all the records up and nigga walk to the store and get us some cheesecake and do this. And I was happy to do it. Like, yeah, I'm up here at 889, nigga. I don't care. You know what I mean? I will do whatever it takes. Don't try to tell an intern to go fucking go to 7-Eleven run for them now. Like, nigga, we can't do that to me. So I love both of those. And the bad part was almost getting put on because I feel like Burn at a certain point in the late 90s, that's when a lot of whack hip hop got on. Because it's like, now I got a record deal. Now, Nelly, I'm going to bring on all my friends. I'm going to bring on the St. Lunatics. And none of these niggas can really rap. You know what I mean? But they my boys. You know, and the same thing with Eminem. I'm going to bring on these niggas. D12. They can't really rap. But they my boys. You know, there was a time in hip-hop where I couldn't mess up my cosign. So if you had to be dope for EPMD to say you was part of the hit squad. You had to be dope. You know, the same thing with Keith Murray with Hostile, you know, off Eric Sermon. When I heard that, I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? Like, Keith Murray, you know? So I definitely feel you on the cosigns. I missed that too. Vay, what you got?
Got the perfect segue. I'm glad you said that. Talent first, because for example, what you said about St. Lunatics, right? That was an era where rappers discovered, I'm on a label, I got this deal, but if I bring on, 4 or 5 of my dudes, they'll give me this other deal. So then, like a pyramid scheme,
right?
And I can eat off of them. So it was never about, who else that's dope. It just was like, oh, them niggas with you? maybe you can make them a group and sign them all, and then if one of them pop, you get it off of them. You know what I'm saying? And that really, I mean, you could even look at the Junior Mafia album, right? It was kind of like, yeah, Kim and maybe C's, and that's it. I don't care about anybody else. But that's what Biggie was doing, right? He was kind of like, I got my crew, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm in charge. They're not on Bad Boy. This is my thing. So, but with talent first, for me, for the most part, when I say that, it's the group thing, but also you had to be nice to get on. You had to be able to sing to get on. Now, you could try on a lower level, but you weren't making it to that situation when you had a deal. Like, for example, shout out to Kel Spencer. He was on one of my friends' podcasts, and he was talking about how he got signed to Will Smith's Overbrook, right? And this is not even Will Smith. He had to like rap like over 30 beats for another dude before he got to Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? And just how many cats that are out now have the talent, the bars, or even the amount of material to sit there on the spot and have them put on like 30 beats. And I mean, DJ Jazzy Jeff was there, but at the same time, just the pressure, you know, having the pedigree, having the skill, having the work, and that's all talent. You know what I'm saying? That's all things you groom after a while. And some of these guys, you could tell, they don't have to go through that gauntlet. And some of them are independent, so don't get me wrong, but they wind up with, you know, major deals or some kind of deal, some form, but it's not really based off of talent. It's based off of popularity and built-in success before they ink the deal. So I'd rather it come back to talent so they can be quality in music. But, you know, it's a business also. So.
And with the singers, I always say a lot of times, ain't nobody going to church no more. All the people you hearing about in the 90s, where you learned how to sing? In the choir, on church. You don't hear none of that from these new singers because they don't go to church. You know what I mean? So you also had that too with why we not getting quality singers. Eddie, what's going on? What's your next joint?
My next one is in studio collaboration. You know, I think nowadays, right, like you get a lot more projects because of internet and how technology works. You can send files back and forth, but I feel like you're missing the magic. Like you're not really crafting something, right? Like it's like, all right, I already wrote my rhymes, or I already made the beats, boom. But I know Kill could speak to it, right? Like there's something when you spend time with the people, when you're in the studio. I got to witness it with Kill and Ev, you know, when Kill was in LA, and they didn't even do any music, but it was just kind of like getting the creative juices flowing, like watching video clips, watching the D'Angelo clip, you know, chopping it up and kind of getting the ideas flowing, right? And I feel like that's missing because, you know, the artist and producer may be in two separate cities doing two different things, not even on the same wavelength of how the album's supposed to sound or feel, you know what I'm saying? So get back in the studio together, man.
Nah, Ed, you already know I agree 100%. The piece about it is Eb was in a place, and Eb was asking me to help him executive produce this album. I had never done that before. You know what I mean? So he was just like, I don't really have the oomph. So I was like, before I went to LA, I got all these video clips, things that I thought would motivate him. So it's like the making of D'Angelo's Voodoo. You know, we was watching different things. It's like just him getting hyped, just him getting in that musical place. And then he slipped through the studio one night. So it's that. And then, I mean, too, I think one of the dope things that me and Vegas have done it, Vegas will come down here to record. So even if I'm sending him the beats and he's writing the rhymes in Brooklyn or in Jersey, he'll come down here to record. You know what I mean? Or when me and Vern did Idle Mind, we were talking every week. And we wouldn't even talk about music. We talk about life, what's going on with Chase. His daughter and my daughter is the same age. And those things will build out in the music, you know, which is one of the reasons why I think Idle Mind came out so good. So even if you are not in the same place, there is still ways that you can work on building the music out Because then I think what happens, I've done projects with people and they've sent me stuff and I haven't loved it, but they're paying for studio time. So do I want to say, well, go back and spend more money? You know what I mean? So it's just easier when you're here. Somebody asked me about Pete and Common's new album. And I'm like, well, I'll get excited for this if Common stops acting for 3 months and he goes to New York and him and Pete Rock are in the studio together and they're really chopping it up. But if Common is writing these rhymes while he's on break from shooting a fucking whack-ass T-Mobile commercial, I don't want this fucking album. I don't want it.
You don't want the iPhone. Like, it's like,
nah, I don't want the iPhone 15. Yeah. Niggas sound like an illiterate fucking kid reading off. No, I don't want that shit. So again, I love that point, Ed. Bring back you gotta get together, especially for these niggas who got money. Like I'm sure you could go to New York, get a telly for the week. And usually that's what happens. I'll tell niggas, come down, get a telly for the weekend, come down on Friday, we record all day Friday, we get stuff to eat, we come back, we cook up some more shit, record all day Saturday. By the time Sunday, you on your way back to wherever you from, the whole album recorded. You know what I mean? We done changed some things. We done added a chorus. T was sitting downstairs. We done brought her up to sing on the hook. JR done been in the studio with us when we just grabbed T.
Yes, when you did that with Sight.
Right.
And y'all, the creative process was just great to see. It was like, yo, let's go get something to eat. All right, let's come back. Let's do this. Let's do that. And see that creative process. And T came up and did this. It was great to see that, you know what I mean? And we need that again, so yeah.
They were talking about how Common and Ye made B, and they were talking about how they went to go see Ray, came back so inspired, and then they made Go. You know, so it's just something about going to see that movie. You saw Ray, it's like, yo, let's go to the studio. Like, that's what I want back. When motherfuckers, Vern, you said it, going to the studio was the shit. Now niggas be like, oh, we gotta go to the studio. Like, no, I remember when going to the studio was the best thing in the world. You can have a chick about to give you some ass. You're like, shorty, I gotta give it to you tomorrow. I'm going to the studio. Like, nothing trumped the studio. It was like, we're going to the studio. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to the studio. And I feel like now just because, oh man, we gotta go to the studio.
Yeah, I left a chick's house to go to the studio because I got that call. Like, I get up with you.
Yeah, like that was it. It was gold. Now it's like it's a pain in the ass. Like, oh god, I gotta record another album. Fuck, okay, no ID, send me some beats. And it ain't no passion behind it. Like hip hop, nigga, hip hop is what got Common at. Cause Common, come on. Common cannot act. I'm not gonna go on my Common rant. Jen, what you got up next for us? I'm not going on my Common rant.
He plays a mean Common in every movie.
Yeah, he does. He's a mean Common in 1965 in Selma. He's a mean ass Common in the future. You know, he's a mean. Every time I see Common, I'm just waiting for. I met this girl when I was 10 years old. I'm like, when are you going to say this? I'm waiting for this bar, my nigga. You know, bro, give me one of yours, good brother.
Common in the Wild Wild West.
My bad, yo. I'm not still at work.
Nah, bro, I see you. I appreciate you. You flipping 50 different things at one time.
Stay employed, my man.
That's right.
Yeah, I am not. What's the boy? My expert opinion. What's his name? Vague Math. What? Math Five. I'm not Math Five. I'm not mad at anybody being late. No, niggas like you can't tell me I'm late if you ain't paying me. I ain't no employee. I just appreciate y'all being here. So you keep doing what you doing, Ralph.
Mine is a producer remixes. So like the Extra P remix, It Ain't Hard to Tell, the Pete Rock remix of House of Pain, Jump Around, stuff like that, man. We don't get that anymore, man. Those used to be like a DJ Premier remix of Showbiz and AG, level stuff like that. Like you know what I mean? We don't get that as much anymore. You know what I mean? So that was mine. Like some of the best songs and best beats we heard ever came off of our favorite producers remixing a song that was already made. You know what I'm saying? So definitely one right there.
You ain't lying, man. The Common, when Extra P gave that nigga 2 remixes to Resurrection, and killed both of them. Both of them. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a great pull, bro. The remix, man. I don't know the last time I heard a remix.
That's on my list. That was one of mine. That bring back remixes, like, and not just don't call it get the same song and you put another rapper on or another singer on as a feature, and now that's a remix.
No, that's a remix, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, adding another person doesn't make it a remix. I want to hear a different song. Like I want to hear it changed up, mixed up different.
Great point. Great point. Jim, what you want to go with your next joint?
Okay, well, that was one of them. My next one, I don't know if this, hold on. I was gonna say, I don't know how many people may agree with this, but I missed the 5 mic rating system. And the only reason I say that, Tone brought this point up because, and we're gonna have some albums drop tomorrow, and I guarantee you, the first thing for this is a classic, and that's the first thing people, they listen to it one time. They're arguing, fighting for their lives on Twitter to tell you that this is a classic album. Nobody's ever done it like this before. And you don't know, to me, a classic, doesn't have replay value. Like, it can be a good album, but it doesn't mean that it's a classic. And I think just because something's good upon the first listen and we're calling it a classic, I missed the 5 mic rating system because it acknowledged that something was good, but it's not a 5. Like, we can't call everything a 5, but it can still be good. So I missed the
Shit, you miss it, I miss it. Niggas know me, I rate everything 5 mics. I be like,
it ain't never went away with you, kid.
Yeah, it ain't never gonna win. They be beefing with one of her teachers. I'm like, how many mics you give? She like a 2.5 mic teacher, Dad. Like, everything, I rate everything on mics.
You was at your mom's house for Thanksgiving, Nate. What you rate this? That's 4.5.
Right. But I agree with you. I mean, I that classic thing, man, it hit me. I'll never forget when it was the NBA Finals and that commercial came on for Jay-Z's Magna Carta. And after that, like, Twitter just blew up like, it's a classic. I'm like, niggas ain't even heard. You just seen Rick Rubin in the studio. Like, it ain't, y'all even hear the song yet. And again, I think a lot of them, I like to just give it to the youth, and blame them, and not in a bad way to throw everything on them, but they weren't raised with the 5 mic system. They have no idea of, like, letting the album marinate, letting it sit. We all listen to music for different things. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with the 5 mics coming back. I'm gonna go with being surprised, man. And what I mean by that is just being surprised. I mean, before the Source, the XXL, and all that stuff came out, you wouldn't even know a new album was out. You would just walk in the record store and just be like, oh shit, the new Heavy D is out. I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? I think, Veg, you talked about that with the Chronic. Like, you just walked in and
I didn't even think it was real.
Right.
I was like, what is this fake ass Dr. Dre?
Yeah. That album cover was horrible.
Yeah,
right. Right, but just being able to, like, walk in the store and be like, yo, that's a new joint that came out, or hearing something on the radio, or I think just by me being 49 and just being here for so long, which is a blessing, but it's hard to surprise me anymore. Like, I remember the first time I was listening to my mom's Billy Joel record and I heard Road to the Riches, the sample. And I was just like, yo, this fucking white dude made Road to the Riches, like that oh shit moment. And I just don't get them that often anymore. I don't get those oh shit moments anymore. I don't get the oh shit moments of, yo, how did Primo do this? And how did Large Professor make this? It just seems like, and I don't know if it's just because I'm old and I've seen it all and I've done it all, like Prodigy said in the beginning, or what it is, but I just don't have those oh shit moments anymore. And I miss them. And then, like Veg, he can attest to this too. Opening the mail at 889, because you never knew what the fuck you were going to get. We're talking 93 to fucking 2000. You opening the mail and it could be the new Nas. It could be the new this. You had no, I would skip class to get to the radio station to get the mail, just to go through the mail to see what they had just sent there. So I just miss those oh shit moments. What were you gonna say, Veg?
No, I was gonna say, well, I have a remedy for it, right? And this shit happened organically, right? I consume content on the internet just as much as everybody else, but I do it in a different way. Like, I watch YouTube like it's television. Like, I will line up all the subscriptions. I will line up. Oh, I'm gonna watch later, and then I'll watch all of them shits. But even in doing that, I'm consuming information, right, about what's happening or what's coming up, regardless of what it is. But I've had a couple of busy work days where it was like in the back of my mind to look at my phone or look at YouTube, and I just didn't get a chance to. And when you mention surprise, like when I get home, I'm just like 2 hours, like, because all of it is surprise, right? Everything already happened. Everybody already knows. I'm the one that's out of the
late
loop.
to the party.
Right. And it is a surprise. But to your point, it is. I do kind of miss that because, you know, I was a big Ice Cube fan. I love Death Certificate. And I remember just being in the record store and I saw The Predator. And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't Death Certificate just come out? Now, for the kids watching, that shit might have came out a year ago. But we were listening to it that long that I was surprised to see a new Ice Cube album out that I also thought that shit was fake. But I was in the ways, so it was like, well, it can't be fake. It's not bootleg. So, but to your point, it's one of those things where maybe sometimes you got to unplug from the stream of people talking and announcing and showing shit. And so when you pop on, you like earlier today, Eddie can attest to this. We in the group chat and WhatsApp. I'm not on nothing all day. I'm just working, and he post a link. Oh, Nas's bootleg album is actually coming out. And I'm like, what? Like, so that surprise is there, but we probably got to train ourselves to take breaks from the internet in order to kind of preserve that. So,
right. Nah, good point. Vern, what you got up next, bro?
Posse cuts.
Yep. I don't know. When's the last time you heard? When's the last time y'all heard a good posse cut? and it's almost. I feel like I could give you posse cuts, but they're all going to be Griselda because
that's group.
Right.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah, it is. But I guess like if it's a Conway album and it's featuring Westside and Benny. I guess technically it's not a posse cut. The last posse cut I really liked was off of Retropolitan.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
What about the song they had with Black Star? Does that constitute?
Oh yeah.
Westside Gun and Black Star.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we all have different definitions of posse cut. Some people will say 4 MCs or more. Because it was like the symphony was posse cut, so it's got to be 4 MCs. The Retropolitan, it was what? Skyzoo, Elzai, Conway, and Benny, and maybe somebody else. That was probably the last posse cut I remember. What were you gonna say, Jen?
No, I was like banned from TV. Like that's what I'm thinking of when I think of
right. Like different people from different. It's not just one group. It's like
I would say also, what was that joint Black Thought did with Run the Jewels and ASAP Rocky?
Yeah, off of this joint, this joint right here. Yeah, because that would be 4. Yeah, but now I'm with you, Vern. Like we're missing out on posse cuts. And I think a lot of that it goes back to why LeBron won't be in the dunk contest. Niggas are scared to get smoked. Like I think ever since Nas said Eminem smoked you on your own shit to Jay, that shit was like a time in history where people was like, nope. I ain't getting smoked on my own song. And Black Thought used to say that for years. He'd be like, yo, nobody ever invite me to get on their songs because they know they gonna get their ass smoked. Like this is why people don't want me on their joints. And I think back in the day, it was like still sharp and still. But I think after Nas said that, it was like, yeah, you know what? I ain't getting smoked on my own cut. Conway, actually, one of my favorite Conway bars, he said something like, I'll tax you, then I'll rap you, or something like that. Like, you know, I'll tap you for the feature, then I'll rap you. Like, I think niggas just scared, you know, because there's no reason. We came up in a time where Dominique and Jordan got that shit on. If you could dunk, you win in the dunk contest. There wasn't no, yo, I don't feel like it, or I don't want it. You don't want to mess up your brand. You don't want to lose in the dunk contest. So I'm ducking, like my youngest they call it duck and wreck. You don't really want to rumble, so you just gonna talk this shit. But if you dunk, that's why I always respected Kobe. Kobe's like, nah, nigga, I want to be in the dunk contest. Like, and if I lose, I lose. That's part of the game. And I think now people are so concerned about their brand that they don't want to lose that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know J. Cole has said that shit. Like, niggas don't want to get on a track with me. That joint with Benny and J. Cole, when niggas were like, yo, is J. Cole dissing you on your own track? Like, niggas don't want that shit no more. So I think that's why we don't get posse cuts anymore, too. But I wish we had them back because those were some good shits. You know?
Yeah.
Veg, what were you gonna say? What's up with your next joint?
Take it back to R&B. Now, JR, don't kill me because I know you probably know some nigga named Romeo James that does it, but I don't know him. Okay, I don't know him. all I could do is watch your show and the radio and try to find some R&B I like, but I miss ballads, man. Like,
that's my next.
Agreed.
Being on albums and just
that was on my list.
And it builds, and they singing their ass off, and you feel it. You feel the emotion.
Yeah.
And the whole album don't even have to be that, but it just has to be a proof of concept that, y'all didn't know I could do this also. Y'all thought I was just dancing and moving and shit. Like, I just miss that. And I know it's tough because I find myself being that old nigga, right? Like, when Usher coming out? Like, I find myself doing that when I'm like, where's the new cat that I could be excited for? So, and I know there's some, but I just kind of miss overall every R&B album having not even just one ballad, but sometimes
two or three,
you know, and a duet ballad, you know. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell my teens all the time, I don't know what y'all walking down the aisle to. Like,
you always say that.
Which y'all generation is getting married to, man. You know what I mean? And one of my interns, young boy, like 21, 22, and he's like, nah, I'm gonna put together a list of, you know, love songs. I'm not like, nigga, love songs. Not songs that have sex too. I'm talking about songs that is talking about love. Songs that are talking about commitment. Songs that are talking about, I wanted to be in love because of the fucking music I grew up listening to. You know,
man.
BBD, when will I see your smile again? You know what I mean? Jodeci, come and talk to me. Like, you can call them the bad boys of R&B all you want, but I've been watching you for a very long time. Like, dog, you know, stay. Like, these were love songs. Forever My Lady was so dope because I was 11th grade. Niggas was starting to getting girls knocked up. And it was like, yo, so you having my baby to mean so much to me. We wrote. This was about love, dog. It's like, yeah, I knocked you up, but you know what? We gonna raise this family together. Yeah, we gonna do it in Timberland boots and leather jackets so it look bad, but nigga, this is about love at the end of the day. We don't have that anymore. Our kids don't.
I was asking my son, like, what do y'all have? So when I was in middle school, like my son said, that's what I was like, Jodeci. We had Jodeci, we had Mary J. Blige. That was around that era. And I look and I'm like, who do y'all have? Like, who's y'all's R&B, your love song person for now? Do y'all even have love songs? But yeah, there's a gap there.
Oh, it's a huge gap. And the same way I said those songs made me want to fall in love, these songs are just making our kids want to fuck. That's all it's doing. You know what I mean? The songs will lead you to what is going on. So at the end of the day, I remember putting slow jam tapes together. So when a shorty came over, it's like, it's love. What you playing? Like, you know, what Deion Cole say after 7 said, you know, I give you a moon, my stars. You know, my love is a fountain. What do you say nowadays? I give you this dick. That's all I got. I just got some dick. That's all I got for you. I don't got no mountain. I don't got no I ain't got no fountain. I just got some dick. You know, yeah, that's all I got.
Hey, Q,
sorry.
To add to Vade's point, like, I miss, like, love songs, R&B songs, not cussing.
Yeah. That was mine. That was on my list.
like, where's the sanctity of love? It's like, if I want to hear cussing, I'm gonna put on Luke or NWA. Imagine Babyface.
Bitch, when you get home from work, bitch, I'm gonna pay this. I'm gonna pay that, bitch. I'm gonna pay this.
Blow your back out.
Right.
Listen, do you remember how shocked we were when Brian McKnight came out with that song? You know what song I'm talking about.
He sounded like an idiot.
Yes, got me to listen.
But now songs like that are the norm. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not from Brian McKnight type of.
But the problem is, bro, like they said, rappers want to be actors and basketball players want to be rappers and R&B want to be, everybody want to be something that they not. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then half these damn singers can't really sing, so it's auto-tune. So, you know, and again, the sad part is what they raised on. You know, if you raised listening to stuff, people cursing all the time. I can't tell you how much my teens curse. There was a time when if I was on the bus and me and my friends curse and an older woman gets on the bus, we stop. You know what I mean? Right. I remember walking through my hood. If you walk past the church, I ain't even know nothing about no Jesus. We stopped cursing, dog. You in front of the church. No, the rules just ain't. The rules are just gone. You know, Vern. This is like when Cuddy came home from jail, and he's like, "Yo, what about the tag? Nigga, what you talking about the tag? Nigga, don't take your ass back to jail. Don't do that no more." You know, he's like, "Wait a slip. What slip you talking about, nigga? back in my day, if you got robbed, you had to have a old ass home, you know? So again, bro, it's just a different world, and it's sad because, again, I don't know what my kids are getting married to. My kids already told me they don't want to get married. They already said that. Mr. Kill, we ain't getting married. Fuck that. For what? What's the point? You know, so I told you my kids said they ain't getting married because what Uncle Phil did to Aunt Viv, right?
Yeah.
What?
They basically...
No, you did. Are you serious?
Okay. On my soul. You come to my teen center, my homegirl Shantae helps me run it now. I said, what did Uncle Phil do to Aunt Viv? And she said he divorced the dark-skinned Aunt Viv and remarried the light-skinned Aunt Viv.
Oh.
I swear to God, on my soul, this is a true story. And I'm like, Tay, no, you don't understand. It's TV. They just recasted it. You know, Will wasn't getting along with Janet Hubris woman or whatever, so they recasted it. But for them, you got to understand, for kids who don't have both their parents, they're looking at these TV shows as real life. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many counseling sessions I've done with couples my age who was like, we just thought it was going to be like The Cosby Show. Or when me and T first got married, one of her homegirls who was younger was like, is it like Martin? So when you don't have your mother and your father, you're just looking at different TV shows that kind of lead you to believe what love looks like and what marriage looks like and what all that stuff looks like. You know, and again, that's just a testament to how sad it is. And Tay May had told me this when she was still a teenager. Tay may be 25 now. So this was probably 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So just imagine the hood keeps getting worse, y'all. The hood don't get better. It only gets worse. What you gonna say, Veg?
Please tell those kids then to stay off of Tubi.
Boy.
Tubi's a different breed.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh man.
Oh. Man. It's crazy. Veg, what you got up next, bro?
I just went, I think.
Oh, my fault. Rel, what you got?
My next one is classic movie soundtracks.
Oh, that's a good one.
That go for hip hop and R&B. Juice was a good one. Waiting to Exhale, the R&B tip was a fucking classic. You know what I mean? We don't get those no more. Like I'm trying to think of the last one that I could remember.
You know what soundtrack that was okay, but it really didn't get pumped? What was that black western on Netflix with Idris and Regina Hall?
Yeah.
That soundtrack was actually pretty dope.
The Harder They Fall.
Yeah, The Harder They Fall. Actually was a dope soundtrack, but nobody talked about. Like, it just came and went. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, back then we had
everything.
Yeah. You know, Menace soundtrack was crazy.
Society, Boys in the Hood. You know what I mean? And the soundtrack had classic songs. We had me and you on Boys in the Hood. You know, we had great songs on these. Oh man, There I Go, Johnny Gill off the Boomerang soundtrack.
Yeah. But you know, that was how a lot of our artists was broke.
Yes.
From soundtrack. You know what I mean? So it was like Mary was broke from a soundtrack. Tony was broke from a soundtrack. Like, it was a lot of our artists broke from soundtracks. That's why we're missing them. But I mean, we got Tubi movies. So what are we gonna do?
On them soundtracks.
Yeah, we need. That's a great pull, Rel, because we need that back, man. We need great black movies back, man. Like, you know, in the 90s, we just had so many Jason's lyric. Like, they were just coming back to back to back, like Dead Presidents. Like, movies to this day, if Dead Presidents comes on cable, I'm watching it. Like, I don't care what's going on. Some of these movies, they come on, I'm watching it. You know, it doesn't matter. Great pull. Eddie, what you got up next, bro?
I got, like, block parties and park jams, man. Like, I really miss those days. Like, and it's like you can't even do that shit no more, man. Because, like, I know in my neighborhood, like, you can't even have music playing past a certain time. You know what I mean? Like, so, I think it goes back to communities, which I feel like communities have become a lost thing, right? So when you had the communities, like, you knew everyone in your neighborhood, you could have that. You could have the block parties. You have the park jams. Like, you knew everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the music, you know what I'm saying? You're going to hear some stuff. So, yeah, I definitely miss that. But I also think it's part of like the way the music was too, because I can't even like the current music. I can't even hear that. I wouldn't want to go to a park jam if they playing that shit. Like,
nah, I feel you. And it goes back to what Vern says about paying dues. I remember reading how Big Daddy Kane would go to the block parties and ask for the mic, and they wouldn't give him the mic. You know what I mean? And then he like brought his own mic one day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like there were dues to be paid. My man Shotty Lukemont always talks about with him and his three brothers in Brooklyn, you had to be the nicest MC in your house before you could even go outside and say you was an MC. Then you had to be a nice MC in your section of Brooklyn before you could even go to another part of your borough. And then you had to be nice in Brooklyn to go to another borough. So it was almost like going to school. It was like, you know, you can't go to second grade until you do first grade. You gotta pass this class to go to that class. Whereas, like Vern said earlier, you kind of just get skipped to the front of the line automatically. Like, I've literally seen this. I've literally seen ciphers post 97 and a nigga say one good rhyme and it'd be like, yo, you an MC. And it's like, well, just slow the fuck down. Like, he had one good rhyme. Like, let's see him do it again and a couple of more times. And, you know, I think Benny got a lot about that. He say something like, you know, you did that, now do that 10 more times and we'll applaud the brother. Like, you know, keep it going. Like, you sold some crack, but nigga, you ain't there yet. Like, let's keep it up. So, Jen, what you got up next?
I think we might have touched on this, but music videos that actually have like a treatment, like they go with the song was put into the actual video.
Yep. I think that goes back.
Intentional music videos.
Yeah, I think that goes back to niggas trying to save money, and it's just easier to get my man Rel to shoot the video. You know what I mean? Like, it's just easier. You know what I mean? Like, come up with a treatment. Like, I shot this video for my man Driz, and I was like, yo, because I was writing a script about a hitman who really wants to be an MC. You know what I mean? So they came down from Philly. I was like, yo, put on black suits like you in Reservoir Dogs, and I found this little hotel out here in Waldorf, and we shot it, and it's like he about to knock on the door and kill somebody, and then I call him on the cell like, yo, nigga, what you doing? Like, you right to that beat? And then he's like, all right, hold on, we gotta wait till we kill this dude to, you know, and he spits the rhymes in the phone, and then when he done, he go back going to kill the guy. You know what I mean? So it was like, let's do something different. You know what I mean?
Instead of just like a bunch of like aimless shots and just think, you know, video that it like somebody put some thought behind it.
Right.
I think to that point, and I remember like Hype Williams was popular, you know what I'm saying? Like, when the Hype Williams type videos started coming out, it was like innovative and we all loved them, but after a while I feel like it became formulaic, and then people were trying to copy, and then it was like, all right, you know, it's like the shots of the girls, you know, it was artistic, but it wasn't the substance like you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then when the budgets got cut, when the $1 million video budgets got cut, you know, because Hype was damn near. Because I know people love Belly. I'm one of those rare people who it's a good movie. It's not a classic for me. It's a hood classic, but it was a one long rap video. Like,
that's all it was.
Like, one long really. You know what I mean? But I'm like, hey, he's a rap video director, so I wasn't expecting John Singleton, God bless the dead. I wasn't expecting Spike. You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely think that's good. The next one that I missed, I need drums in my beats. I need drums in my beats.
Waiting for that.
Okay. I wrote down here, I grew up in Isuzu Amigos and MPVs where the system had to bang. Okay? Y'all, what is the name of LL song? What is it? The what system? It's the booming system. Okay? There is no booming system with no drums, okay? It's just a lot of rattling going on. It's like a ghost is in that fucking car. You just hear shit rattling, but there's no drums. And again, I get it. This new generation, how have they grown up listening to music? On AirPods, on laptop speakers. You know what I mean? A while ago they were saying on Apple Music, mastered for iTunes. You know what I mean? So it's the way that this new generation is ingested. There's no way you're listening to no all album of drumless hip hop in 1989 and know a Isuzu Amigo. You're gonna be like, nigga, get that shit the fuck up out of here. You know what I mean? And again, it's not everything. It's not everybody. It's just everybody doing it at the same time. So I just want some drums back in my beats. Gerald, what you got up next, bro?
I just said balance. I missed the balance of You know, we was talking about the Jodeci's and things like that, but then Luther was still popping. You know, Aretha was still popping. Patty was still popping. This is the 90s. They still was popping, but we was liking that. But we also was liking the new school. And that's
Patty, somebody loves you, baby, man. You play that.
Yes, like it's so we're missing that. I think the balance is bad because now there's no balance in it at all. You know what I mean? Which goes back to not like, you know, with our, you know, younger artists not knowing our legends. We were able to know that because they were getting played on the radio. So you listen to a Jodeci record, but then you will hear Luther after that. Then you hear Mary. Then you will hear Shaka. Then you hear like that. So we were still able to know the legends that came before then, and it was just a balance of it all. So I miss that on radio for sure.
All right, Vern, what you got up next?
Dope crews in hip hop. Dope crews in hip hop made for dope music because you had Jungle inspiring De La, inspiring Tribe, inspiring Black Sheep, you know, and making them be their best. You know, you had the Hit Squad with all those dudes making dope stuff, and that's how it, you know, you had nice posse cuts because you had all these dope crews making dope music. So dope crews for me.
Outside of Griselda, what crews are out there?
Dreamville, is Dreamville a crew or is it a label?
I always thought it was a label. All I know is J. Cole. I don't know nobody down with them. I know Kendrick had that crew, but now he's not with them no more, right?
Now he's not with TDE.
He's not with TDE.
I think it's labels and crews, right? Because there was, like you said, Black Beat. There was Pro Era, right? Joey Badass and all the associated with that. But it's kind of like they on the same label also. So.
Yeah, but you're right, man. And I think the thing that I loved about Native so much was that they all did their own production. You know what I mean? So it's not like Q-Tip produced for the Jungle Brothers, Tribe, De La, Moni, Latifah. Latifah had Mark. The JBs did their stuff. Tribe did their stuff. De La and Paul did their stuff. You know what I mean, too. So I definitely that crew listeners too.
I will say, like to Vegas's point, I do feel like Dreamville tends to operate like a crew because they have like the Dreamville collaborative projects and stuff, and they're on each other's songs and stuff like that. And you know, so I even though it's a label, it's kind of the closest thing to a crew, you know.
Right. All right. Vay, what you got?
Bring back popularity in female MCs who can spit, because I get it. Like, there are people who give credit to dope female MCs, but it's like social media, only a few people who will name it or listen to their music or whatever. But I don't even really have that much of a problem with most of the ladies that rap now, but that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? And most of them can't really rap like that. But it just kind of sucks, because why does it have to be one thing and it can't be nuanced like it is with us? You know what I'm saying? Because like Griselda's the prime example. In a different era, you know, and it's not based off skill, it's based off status. They would be like an underground type thing, and it would only be a certain type of people who know them. But when you look at their money and their exposure, you know, they don't really have to sell as much as Jay-Z, but in some ways they're kind of known just as much as somebody like that. So I feel like with the ladies, and I think Cardi B said it best, right? She was like, yo, when we rap about anything else, y'all ignore it. But then as soon as we come out with WAP and all these other records, y'all all over it. So we gotta eat. And people like Rhapsody, like I think Eve is one of the best albums, you know, in a while, you know, for female MCs, just conceptually, performance wise, beats, rhymes, switching flows, all kinds of shit. and it was relatively ignored, which is crazy, you know, even though it kind of had a push. So I just wish there was a way to acknowledge that beyond a Twitter thread. You know what I'm saying? Some appreciation thread. So, and
it's crazy because Rhapsody gets so much of a cosign. You know, she's on Rock Nation, like Young Guru is mixing her shit, you know, Ninth One. So it's not like she's some like random MC that's just kind of somewhere out there in the ether. Like, nah, like you got people behind you. You know, what are you gonna say, Vaughn?
The problem with Rhapsody is that the average chick don't like her or know her. It's the heads that push Rhapsody. It ain't the average woman who's listening to music that talks about Rhapsody.
Yep. You gonna say, Jen?
So I'm gonna try. I think it's not gonna say it's not the average woman. I think it's demographic and age. So the girls that are kind of popular that you see now, they're like in their early 20s, early to mid 20s. So to me, I look at that anyway. For women, we might lean more towards Rhapsody. And then to the point that we were talking about last week about there being different types of hip hop, just like there's the girls that's gonna go for Sexy Red and Cardi B and Meg, there's girls that are listening to Tierra Whack and to Rhapsody. There's, like I said, there's a lane for Rhapsody. There are women that listen to her. There are women to both. I just think that there's I don't think there has to be one or the other. I think that both of the women or both types can exist at the same time in the same space, because there's someone that's going to want to listen to it.
Let me ask you this, Jen. Mm-hmm. Do you think, because I don't know a lot of women who are 40 plus who still listen to hip hop. Like, that's number one. Like, I feel like so many people, like, even men too, I feel like a lot of my friends, like after they graduated college and got married and stuff, it was like, oh, you still listen to that hip hop stuff, Kill? Like you're still hipping and hopping and all that stuff. Like, you know, why you still have some records in your house, man? Go, like, let's go play golf or something, you know? So I feel like I just personally don't know a lot of women who still like real hip hop. Like you and Portia are like anomalies to me when it comes to the average woman who you like Griselda, you like Boldy. I see the shit that you, when you doing your dress videos, you got the SP1200, the Dilla SP1200. I'm like, what the fuck you know about SP1200? So I just feel like y'all are the anomalies, and I don't feel like there's enough of y'all to balance. Like if it's a seesaw, y'all are down here versus the other women. Because I know women 45 plus who know Cardi B. They love that Code Red song, whatever that shit was, and you know, so I feel like even women those ages that are older like it, but I don't know. Like, so I guess my question is, do you know a lot of women like your age who like really still fuck with hip hop and bars and really want to hear somebody spit?
Okay, so I must say probably women. I probably know maybe 2 other people. So I'm gonna say no. It's pretty much the same thing too. I get a lot of questions like, well, why are you, same thing, like like grow up, or it's time for you to put all that away and listen to R&B, and you're a woman and you're listening to this, I get that all the time. To me, it's like part of my childhood. It's something I'm never going to give up. It's just a part of me. It's the music that I love. But to answer your question, now that I think of it, it's not, I don't have a lot of women friends that are like heavily entrenched. Like if a release comes out that we're discussing like the production and bar structure and, somebody's catalog and going, there's not a lot of women.
Right. And I think that's
now, not to say they exist. If y'all exist, find me. But I'm just where are you at? But in my universe, I don't have I'm odd woman out when it comes.
And see, I think that's the thing, because if you and your girls go to a club, they may like the Cardi B song. They may not like the new Lotto song. They may, they may know those newer songs. Not even if a club, just a happy hour or whatever that the DJ's playing, they'll probably know that before the Rhapsody joint. So it's just kind of like, and it's crazy because it's these 2 chicks I love. Vague, have you heard of Girl Code out of Brooklyn?
Is that a group?
Yeah, it's 2 girls. It's Sabigga and Cindy.
They did. They wrapped
and
up
they got a video where like they running and shit like that.
They do videos where they got a video for Big L's Albonics. They did a joint for Camp Low. I love these two shorties.
Yeah.
Like I will just veg out the girl code. If I had a label, I'd sign them today. I love them to death. They're Brooklyn all day. They're bars. I get my rewindable quotables, but nobody really knows about them. You know, when I tweet on Twitter about like, yo, I love these two, like it's crickets, you know. So I'm with you, Vern. I mean, I'm with you, Vega. I wish more female MCs could get their props because I mean they deserve it.
One example, like you know, like with my wife, for example, right? She likes Cardi B, you know, not like buying albums and shit, but she likes certain songs. Same thing with Megan Thee Stallion and all that. But she loved MC Lyte. You know what I'm saying? She loved those. But if I'm like, yo, check out this new Rhapsody, and she hear all that 33 Devils and 33 Levels shit, she gonna be like, wait, no, turn that shit off. Like,
but you know what I think it is, bro? I think it goes back to like we were saying on last week's show is that hip hop was all the same back then. You know, so
right.
Your wife, T, any average female who's around our age was, if you're listening to hip hop, you're listening to Light, you're listening to Latifah, you're listening to Salt and Pepper. You know, there really wasn't. We didn't have that difference. You know, so it's not like there was an MC Lyte and a Little Kim out at the same time. So you got Light dressing, you know, spitting. What you gonna say, Jeff?
There kind of was. So during the Light time, you still had like the real Roxanne. Who was the light skin? That was the real Roxanne. So you
the real Roxanne.
I think there's always been like I don't want to say, but you know, that may be count. So I think there, like I said, there's space. Just like Vegas was saying with his wife, she can listen to Cardi B and she can also appreciate MC Lyte. I'm in that same space. I can listen to all of it because to me it's all hip hop. You can appreciate it and it all has its place. But I forgot that's my original point. But yeah.
It's cool. We all getting old, man. I gotta keep a pad right here in front of me, or it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yeah. What you gonna say, Eddie?
I was gonna say, like, I feel like these days, like, you gotta be intentional, and I think that's the difference, right? Like, you could turn on the music and like on the radio or whatever, or like you said, listen to whatever they're playing in the club or at the bar or whatever, and you're gonna get spoon fed, but in order to find something that's dope that speaks to you, you got to be intentional. Like, and I think for us, because we all love it, like we have been, right? I feel like you get to a point where it kind of finds you, right? We just find dope stuff because we already put ourselves in that kind of circle, right? We know where to find it, but if not, you really got to be intentional of looking for it and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't want to do that. It's just too much. Like, I got too much going on. I ain't trying to dig through, you know, Spotify. It could be very overwhelming.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of people don't want to do it. I mean, and it's hard, man. Like back in the day, you'd go on why would you know somebody's album was coming out? It said it was an ad in the source. They was on 106 and Park and they said it. You don't know how an album is coming out nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, somebody gonna have to be on IG Live, or somebody gonna have to tweet about it, or something. You don't know where the album is coming out. We just did. Eddie, did you just go a railway?
I think Vegas just went, right?
All right, Ro, what you got?
I got
and you know what? Give everybody your last two. Let's start doing the last two because I know we almost at the 2 hour mark now. So
okay, last two. So
yeah,
mine is mixtapes, breaking exclusives and freestyles. I know we all remember getting a Clue tape and hearing a song we ain't heard before, or hearing a classic freestyle from somebody you know, or hearing an artist that, you know, is new and popping, and you hearing like something new from that artist off the mixtapes. Like we don't get that these days, you know what I mean? And my last one is the other aspects of hip hop, not just rapping. So the dancing, the graph, all of that, the DJ, all that is like forgotten, you know what I'm saying? And that's the essence of hip hop, and most of that stuff is forgotten except niggas rapping, you know what I mean? So that's my last two.
I love that, Rel, because to me it ties back into what JR and I were talking about earlier with LMA, is that do we expect these kids to know about graph? You know, just because they rap. You know, do we expect them to know about breakdancing just because they rap? You know what I mean? Right. Somebody would have to teach them that because they don't see graph no more. If this was in the 80s, every day you get on the train, you see graph. You walk by the corner store, you see graph. You don't see it anymore. Eddie, what's your last two?
All right, so I got hard to describe, but I'll just say creative beat making and production, right? And what I mean by that is like, yeah, you know, like you got sampling and stuff like that, but mostly drumless. And I'm not trying to focus on just the drumless, but I'm talking about like taking time to dig, taking time to chop. Like there was a point like back in the 90s and even the 80s when, right, producers were trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for, right? They were trying to be deceptive, like with what samples they were using, or trying to use something that everyone didn't know, so they wouldn't get flagged, right? For, okay, now I'm coming for my money, or chopping it up so people don't know what it is, right? And that led to creativity. I also think another thing that's leading to lack of creativity is just how easy it is to make a beat, right? That leads to more and more producers. Everyone feels like they could produce, right? But that ease, it kind of leads to lack of creativity, right? Like producers like someone like a Jay Dilla, right? Like he, you know, had limitations on the equipment he used, but he worked that machine to the freaking bone and figured out everything that machine could do and developed his own style. Right now it's like it's so easy to do it, and so I feel like people are not really inspired to get really creative. Even someone like a Timbaland, right? You know, with adding, you know, all his vocal effects to it and shit like that, right? But yeah, get creative, you know what I'm saying? Bring something new to it. And then the last thing I'll have is I miss hip-hop publications, you know what I'm saying? Like I think I touched on it a little bit earlier, like The Source and Vibe and Rap Pages and stuff like that. And really, I know there's stuff online, but there ain't nothing like having that physical copy, you know what I'm saying? Going to the magazine stand or the corner store or whatever, right? Getting that copy, you know, you see who's on the cover and you're like, oh shit, that's dope. They may have a poster in there. They may have like the quotables, the articles. You see, you know, what rating did this album get? What's the hip hop quotable? Like all of that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good brother. I missed that too. Sad part is the internet killed that, man, because we get news right away. Back in the day, you got that source. When you get it in June, that shit really happened in May. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's always behind, because I mean, I miss shit. You want to talk about Right On, Black Beat, fucking Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Slam, you know what I mean? XXL, Vibe. I used to love them Vibe ads, the Tommy Hilfiger ads in there, you know what I mean? So I definitely feel you on that. Jen, what are your last two joints that you missed, please?
The first one, R&B wise, I missed interludes. In between or placed in the album. I used to love those. It was they would always be like the best vocals, the best beat, like a little teaser. So I miss interludes, and I miss shows like Rap City, even like TRL. I just miss, you know, how they would premiere the videos, and it would be such like an event, or especially on Rap City, it would just end up being an event, like actual music video shows. Right. Or Soul was good too. They show those Video Soul, I think, like on Amazon, like some of the old videos from the 80s.
Oh, they do?
And, yeah, it just makes me miss like watching. And
you said that's on Amazon?
Yeah, on Amazon. I will send you the link for the channel, but it's like 80s videos, R&B videos, and I feel like they have some rap, a couple of hip hop videos too. But yeah, I miss a good, like, and I know it sounds so obvious, but just like a good video program. And then they would have interviews with the artists.
Yep.
When they came to premiere their interviews, I missed it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember TLC's Waterfall video with Shaheem in it. They had a whole background and interviewing Shaheem, and it was like a movie event, like you said. You know what I mean?
Behind the scenes too. When you talked about Angelo, his Voodoo album, and how they had like the behind the scenes. It's that not taking us along the whole time, but at the end, like as part of it being released, like that behind the footage or the making of this album was so cool to watch.
Right. Tony Starks, what witchcraft are you doing down there in Vegas? I just see a thumb up coming from your watch. Like, you always on some Tony Stark shit. What are you playing with over there that's putting a thumbs up on the screen?
I'm not doing anything.
Oh, because you like touch your watch and then it's like a thumbs up pops up on your screen.
Oh, I like that comment. Nah, I didn't do anything.
Oh, see, that just happened. This nigga fucking Tony Starks. I'm not even fucking with you.
Yeah, there's a...
Yeah, don't Eddie. Don't. That's Tony Starks.
I just saw it.
It's Tony Starks. My last two is kind of like girls with mixtapes. The first time I met Morgan, '92, my man from Jersey, red BMW, he comes up playing Stephanie Mills, Something in the Way You Make Me Feel a cappella with Impeach the President. My head exploded. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? That's my favorite break beat. I love Stephanie Mills. How the fuck is Stephanie Mills singing over Impeach the President? I didn't understand it. I'm bugging niggas. They like, no, it's just Ron G, nigga. And I'm like, Ron G, who the fuck is Ron G? And that just sent me down a rabbit hole of mixtapes. You know what I mean? And begging my man Polo. He lived up in the Bronx. He'd go to New York everywhere. I'm like, yo, here, take all my money. Just bring me back all the mixtapes. And it'd be, you know, Kid Capri, Ron G, Doo-Wop and the Bounce Squad, SNS and Craig G, Dog Time, Buck Wild. The producer, before he was a producer, he was a mixtape DJ. And I just love that era. They actually have a book I just copied. It was supposed to be here today, but it's not. It's called Do You Remember the Golden Era of New York City Mixtapes? You got that too, Jen?
No, I want to order it. I saw it came out yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so yeah, that joint looked crazy. And the other thing I did hate about mixtapes is they was all treble and no bass. Like, especially if you got a dub of a dub, it'd be no bass whatsoever. Back to drumless hip hop, it was no bass whatsoever. And then my last one is kind of like, I miss albums that are really albums that aren't mixtapes. And what I mean by that is, like, when people drop albums now, I feel like they're just mixtapes. I feel like there's really no concept behind the songs. I'm just rapping the rap. I'm just rapping. And it's like with Killer Mike. When I heard Killer Mike's Michael album, it really felt like an album. It felt like it was well produced. It felt like there's singing. There's just everything in it. He's talking about some things. It feels like an album. And I feel like so many songs nowadays, they just have random names. Like, I love West Side Gun to death. I have a Best of West Side Gun mixtape. I mean, fucking Vegas knows I have a fucking 4 volumes of the Best of Griselda. I can't name you 5 Griselda songs. I'll be like, that song where he says this, or I got Mr. T, and I know there's a Hitler somewhere in here. And then I don't even know if the word, like, you know, Conway got the joint the cow, but what is it about? Is there a cow? Like, why did he name it the cow? Like, I feel like they just be naming them any goddamn thing, and I find myself saying things like, oh, I like song 5, 9, and 11. I don't even be, but I never said that with Tribe. I never said, oh, I like the last song on Midnight Marauder. No, nigga, lyrics to go. Like, no, I like awards. Like, I felt like back in the day, people took time to, like, craft the songs. Like, I feel like the Roots Concerto of the Desperado would now be like that song with the opera sample. Like, that literally would be the name of the song. Like, that song with the opera sample. So I just miss albums just being put together. Even track listings, the way your album flows. Like, I feel like people just be like, I've been in the studio and people be like, just throw that shit over there and we recorded. I'm like, no, nigga, we got a good song here. We got started good and then we're going to slow it down and we're going to speed it back up towards the end. Like, I just feel like people just be like, name that song, whatever. Name the album, whatever. I don't give a fuck. You know, just everything is just like, just put it out there. And I just really miss albums. I'm enjoying this dude, Nick Grant, his new album. Like, people were like, yo, if you like Killer Mike's new album, I think you'll like Nick Grant's album too. So those are the kind of like 2 things for me. JR, what's your last 2 things, man, that you bringing back?
Artist development, like y'all said about the whole thing about the mystery of an artist. You know what I mean? It was like they knew how to do interviews. They knew what to say, how to say it, when to say it. You know what I mean? We're kind of missing that. Everybody was like, I want to keep it real and be all over the place and you sound stupid. So for me, I feel like we need like artist development. And the last one I'm gonna say is like better hosts for like, you know, radio shows and things like that. Because with R&B as well, I miss when a radio host would be like, yo, sing something. And they would display their talent. You would see a group. You will hear the harmonies that you like. You will hear it a cappella. We don't even get that anymore. You go on a radio show, they don't even ask them to sing. So you don't even know if they're talented or not. You know what I mean? So that's what I miss. I miss better hosts on radio shows, and I miss artist development. So
I think that artists and repertoire, that AR piece so much, because that was the university. You know what I mean? The artists, if Ella May had a good A&R, she probably would have made her listen to some Aretha. You know what I mean? It would have been like that was the university. This was how you do a stage show. You know, I really commend Summer Walker when she got with Tiana Taylor to help her work on her stage show. Because her stage show wasn't there. And people knew that. So I was like, yo, that's so fucking dope. Like, you went out and got Tiana to really fuck with you and make your stage show doper. I don't feel like a lot of younger artists feel the urge to be doper. You know, it's kind of like, you know what it is? It's fucking nut ass Ben. You know what I mean? It's, I got the contract. I don't need to get better. Ben Simmons for everybody who doesn't know me on Twitter. Okay. It's like, I could just like when they like, hey Ben, you gonna get a jump shot this year? Nigga, that wasn't I just rookie of the year? Stop asking me dumb shit. Like, am I gonna know who Aretha is? Stop asking me that dumb shit. Didn't you just see I won 4 Grammys? Don't worry about if I know Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin won 4 Grammys. So I think like it's the attitude too. So it's the people around you, because I'm always like, Ben, are you this stupid? Where's your PR person? Where's your pop? Like, do you have people who love you in your life? Because you talk just stupid all the time. So I think that's the thing too. If we had better A&Rs, then we would get. We don't get the bad boy that we don't get the Jodeci that we know without Puff. We don't get the Mary that we know without Puff. We don't get that artist and repertoire. We don't get that without Puff. If Andre Harrell signed Mary, if you take Puff out that equation, Vegas, I don't know if we love Jodeci as much as we do. They may have been singing
Boys the Men Suits.
Yeah, they may have been singing, you know, Forever My Lady with suits on, with no parts and no tattoos, no nothing, you know. So again, that A&R was so important. People really believe that Jodeci just came up from North Carolina looking like that, you know, and that's not the case. So great points. Bro, what's your last joints, bro?
When R&B radio was not segregated, you would hear George Michael or Wham or Robbie Neville with Peter Gabriel, with Kool and the Gang. If it was dope, it was dope music.
Whoa, did you say Neville? Is that one of them Neville brothers, Vegas?
No. Robbie Neville, say la vie.
Okay. I just heard Neville. And I was like, oh no, we not doing another Neville episode.
No. It was just so the radio wasn't segregated. So our palette, I always use the analogy of music when we came up. This is not a generation thing, but it's just what I tend to notice. I compare, like, if you go to a restaurant and they give you the kids meal, 3 crayons, or you have this 64 color box of Crayola with the sharpener in it. When radio wasn't as segregated as it is now, we had the 64, so we could pull from anything. Kill, you talk about it all the time. Shit, Duran, you know, Level 42, Mr. and whatever, Michael Jackson and Prince, all that put together made for a more enjoyable music experience to me. And then I would say, I miss, for the most part, when dope MCs used to smile and not take themselves so seriously, and they made fun music. You know, you had Getting Funky, you had Kwame, you had Heavy D, you had different guys making fun music that we could have fun to. We didn't have to be ice grilled 24/7. So, and then just another thing, I miss when dance hall exploded into our ears as with hip hop. Bro, 91 to be in college, to hear Shaba and Buju and Supercat and Cuddy.
She wrote.
Yeah, Barrington Levy, all that together. wow, I mean, on Thursday nights or Saturday we go to the Mug or Royal Peacock and get our bogle on. But then, you know, we went to hip hop nights and we had all of it, man. And I just missed that.
Right. I think, Vern, too, the piece about the radio being segregated, a lot, I think that's true too. And then it comes back to just us getting kidnapped again. We got kidnapped by them video shows, them Friday night videos, and we'd have to stay up all night to hear that one Run DMC video. Yeah. So we'd have to sit through Men at Work and Duran, and
Huey Lewis,
and the Eurythmics and Huey Lewis and all of that shit. Like me and they be at Six Flags and they be playing Huey Lewis, It's the Power of Love, and I'll be saying shit like, "Daddy, you know this?" I'm like, "Yes, Lewis. Yeah, I know this." But the only reason, but again, if we would have been able to, our generation now can just go to it. They don't have to wait for anything. They could just fast forward to it. And if that was us, I would have done the same damn thing. I don't know who Duran is. I'm a fast forward through the Beastie Boys video. But we had to sit through it. And you sit through that every week. Duran is top 5 group ever, in my opinion. I love Duran. Duran go on tour tomorrow, I'm fucking going. You know what I mean? But again, and Vern, it brings me back to the point that one time this guy on Twitter said, "Kill, you said you like Chance the Rapper, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, but you like Benny the Butcher too." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You can like both of them?" And I'm like, "Nigga, you can like whatever the fuck you want to like." But this is what shows me how close-minded our kids are in this box. Like, how can you like Chance the Rapper? He's like corny, but then you like Benny the Butcher, and he's like a killer. So how do you like both of them? And I'm like, bro, just like whatever you like. But again, it shows me our kids weren't kidnapped. They had the ability to skip over all the BS. Because I'm not gonna hold you. Probably the first time I heard Duran, I probably was like, "It was this bullshit." But after watching it every month and the Eurythmics shit, Culture Club, Time, that's one of my favorite songs ever. You know what I mean? Time of the Heart, nigga. Play that, you gonna make me smile, man. But again, I would have fast forwarded, right? Get that shit out of here. I want to see the Beastie Boys. Who's this weirdo George looking nigga? Get him out of here. But we couldn't. We had to sit there. It's like an 8-track tape. It was no chord in it. You had to sit through the whole damn tape. You know what I mean? So in these kids now, we don't even have to buy the album. I can just go to iTunes. I'm gonna buy that song, and then I'm done. I'm good. You know. So again, we got kidnapped, and getting kidnapped was a good thing. Veg, what's your last two, brother?
All right, last two. I wish there was a longer. I don't know. I can't even think. I've been drinking a lot, y'all.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
I'm just being real, and plus I'm tired from work. But I wish there was a longer grace period between albums. Because,
yeah,
and that go for you independent artists also.
Oh, right.
Because I feel like I'm older, and I want to really learn the lyrics. I want to absorb it. Sometimes you may release 2 really dope records in the 2-week span, and I gotta choose. I can't rock both of them. I gotta be like, well, shit, I like this, and I'm gonna just go with this. Right. So I just wish it was a longer grace period between releases, because I mean, you release a deluxe, cool. But when it's like a whole other thing, it's kind of like it's hard for me to say, yo, I haven't been listening to this as much as I want to. And now you got a whole nother thing. And I just say, fuck it sometimes. I either move on to the new thing or I just stick with the older thing. So I just wish I don't mind it now. Look, I'm a hypocrite in some ways because Currency release every week. And I'd be like, okay, bet. But he ain't saying shit. So it don't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a vibe. And I like it, right? It's a new vibe every week. So I just wish more artists did things like that. So to your point, would build anticipation in me as a fan for their music. So my last thing is I wish this was a new thing, but it would never be, not a new thing, but something that could come back. College and AM stations have an underground hip hop.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
To not only break new artists and break music, but just a central place where I'm like, I don't know what's coming up. I don't know who might be next, but I could go to this station and listen and just learn and get excited, take notes, whatever it may be. I feel like now that's kind of like that's the internet in general.
Yeah.
But you have to do more digging because the internet is so big. You like, you know, is this just a group of, you know, dudes who like underground cats, and when I go press play, I'm not gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? Versus, this is similar to the having a source in publications, knowing this is where I go. This is where they will stamp this artist as dope, and I could just sit there and be like, okay, boom, let me get this whole catalog on, you know, streaming service. So I kind of miss that because it really don't exist. They don't even come through like they used to. So yeah.
Yeah, let us live with your albums, man. Let us get to know them so that we don't say let's play number 4.
You know the whole. What you gonna say, Jim?
No, I was gonna say that's it. They don't let albums breathe now and just be back to back to back, and don't get a chance to really to live with the album. Find your song.
Yeah, I think the hard part is the double-edged sword. Conway says he makes $500,000 every time he drops a new album off of merch. So if I'm making $500,000 every time off a new album of merch, nigga, y'all getting an album every quarter, you know. So I can just crack this $2 billion for the year. And since that's not going to change, like what Vegas was saying earlier about the way that he takes in stuff, I give an album 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, so I think we have to kind of change the way we listen to the music. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm always going to be behind, you know, and I'm fine with that because, again, the whole fun of hip hop for me growing up was knowing the lyrics. That was the fun part. It was rapping along. When we go to homecoming, we're at these spots and we're rapping along every word to these songs. That's the fun part. Well, at least it was for me. I feel like now people be like, oh, no, that's my album of the year. Yo, can you spit one song off the album? Nah. You know what I mean? Because you haven't lived with it. So I like to give an album 2 weeks. I'm always be behind, and that's just what it is. And I'm cool with that because that's cool. While everybody else is waiting for something new, I'm like, oh, I still got this new ransom. I'm still living off the Director Cut 4. I barely witnessed Spirit of Ride. You know what I mean? So I think we kind of got to change how we digest the food. It's like go in the corral and just keep going back and back and back and back. It's like, nah, let me just finish my plate first. Let me chill. And I know it's hard because then everybody talking about it on Twitter. And if you ain't talking about it on Friday when it dropped, when you want to talk about it next Wednesday, niggas are like, oh, it's old now. We done moved on. Shit, it's only been 4 days. You know, we already done moved on. So I get why 3000 doesn't want to rap because I feel like if Outkast dropped the album tonight, we'd be talking about it. It'd be dead by next Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is Outkast. This is Andre 3000's solo debut album, all boom bap, produced by Organized Noise, and it would be all this anticipation up to the album. The album would drop, and then a week later, we forget all about it. And Andre done took 4 years to make this album, and y'all niggas done forgot about it in 6 days. You know what I mean? So it's like, why bother? Great show as always. Eddie, let them know where they can get at you, good brother.
Yes, sir. On Twitter at AD80, Instagram at Freestyles.
Eddie, show that shirt one more time, man. This is my brother Ev's shirt. His Profit line. We just got back from LA, doing his theater piece out there. It's about the journey of an MC. Definitely got some more stuff coming for that. Eddie, thank you for coming out with your family to see the show and support. Definitely appreciate you, good brother.
Yeah.
Rel, where can they get at you, bro?
Uptown Rel 215, JBen 215 on Twitter, Uptown Rel 215 on the gram. A Ver Braves Phillies coming up.
I already told him.
It's on, cuz.
I already told him. And for everybody out there who doesn't understand this A's hat, I'm not an Oakland A's fan. The Athletics were originally in Philadelphia. So if you ever see the A like this, that's for Philadelphia. The apostrophe S is when they went to Oakland. So it was originally the Philadelphia Athletics. So yeah, we about to get that on, Vern. We about to get that on. We need to be ballers. I need to be flying down there for y'all games. We need to make this happen, man. We gotta get this thing popping. We need to sell some houses like Vern, Rel. Fuck this Philadelphia steak life. Fuck these cheese. We need to sell some houses.
Right.
And get down there, man. Rel, tell them about the album, man. Come on.
Oh shit, man. Sorry, it's been a long week, man.
Nah, bro, I understand, man.
The album's out. The album is out, Caught in a Moment. Produced by Kill. He produced every song except 4. So my band came. I'm about to put it out on Apple Music and all that probably next week. And I'm back in the lab working on something else, JR.
Yo, he's that ass too, man. I'm not even. JR, for years, I thought this whole Rel Tresvant shit was a joke. I was playing along with it.
I thought it was
until this nigga said, "Send me some R&B shit," and I was like, "Oh shit, nigga, we real?" Like, so he's fucking serious, man.
Tell JR, I actually have a plan. Like, this is not.
Yeah, I'm dead. I was shocked too. For all these years, I thought it was a joke. He's dead ass serious. So there's a Rel Tresvant album coming. So it really.
For Valentine's Day. Yeah.
He's dead serious too. Vay, where can they get at you, bro?
All right, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, spell all that at Vegas World INC, and you can check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, which is a weekly news podcast available on your podcasting platforms, but also on YouTube. And Rel, let me get a verse on your R&B joint. You know,
oh my
God, bro, no, I got you. I promise. Right. Yeah.
Kill be front. He don't be putting me on the R&B joints. You think I'm gonna like rough them joints up? I'm like, man.
Here's the thing, man. I honestly really did. I've been playing along with this Rel Tresvant shit for like a year, and I really thought it was a joke until he hit me like, "Nigga, send me some R&B beats," and I'm like, "Oh, you serious?" Oh, I didn't know. I had no idea. Vern, where can they get at you if they are looking to buy a house in Atlanta, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Alabama?
Alabama, yes, sir.
Damn, look at that. I got all them states, man.
Yeah. V the Loan Closer on Instagram, V Chandler 10 on Twitter. And, you know, Kill, you got Nate about to start college, man, so I don't want you to spend airplane money for nothing to come see Philly. They boot smoke this weekend.
Oh,
so
wow.
so stay up there and be a father to your child, man.
So be a father to my child. God damn.
He's talking heavy.
Yeah, he's talking heavy, as he should. JR, what's up, bro? Where can they get at you, man?
R&B Reps, we trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so we on the way to 1,000 subscribers, so we trying to get there. Just follow us on Instagram on R&B Reps, Instagram, Twitter, R&B Reps, YouTube, R&B Reps. The episode is out now. Is the one where we talk about the Delphonics, Ready or Not, Here I Come, and Tracy Spencer, Love Me. We did also catch that minis that 2 people talked about. It was really, really a good conversation. So check it out. But R&B Reps, everything. You can go there and get everything.
And what about you, YouTube?
Y'all gonna show Eddie Winslow singing Tender Kisses?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. He thought he was singing for real.
He thought he was killing it. He was horrible.
Yes, he did. Oh God, bad.
And JR, tell them about the YouTube page with the video with the Curtis Mayfield Sparkle versus Claudine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so check out Junior's World of Soul. I did a video that Kill would never not let me talk about. It's Sparkle versus Claudine, and I talked about the differences of it all, of what he did with Sparkle with Aretha and what he did with Gladys. It was such a great video. I didn't know it was that great until Kill said something. And then
here's the thing, for people watching, the reason why this is so incredible is because Curtis Mayfield produced both soundtracks. So you're looking at Curtis Mayfield with Sparkle with Aretha Franklin, and Curtis Mayfield producing Gladys Knight with the Claudine. So that's why, to me, that stood out to me. I think that's how we met, because I was like, yo, who the fuck's brain? That's some shit my crazy brain would have thought of. So it was like,
was with the Leon Bridges thing, but then
it was the Leon Bridges. But yeah, so you got that. And then he has one breaking down Ralph Tresvant and why he didn't blow up leaving New Edition, and why David Ruffin didn't blow up leaving the Temptations. So
Junior's World of Soul, yes, on YouTube. Check that too, yes.
All right, Jen, where can they get at you, miss?
Nola Darling on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
All right, and y'all already know this. Kill 889 with me. Y'all know me, the Bookworm. One thing I do miss boomboxes. The Boombox Project. It's a very dope book. It's just all the boomboxes. This was the boombox I wanted so bad. It had the double cassette tape at the top. This is back when people, if you really know LL, you would know his first song was I Can't Live Without My Radio. So it was almost like LL and a radio was synonymous. So definitely a dope book to check out. I will check y'all next week, good peoples.